What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in Channel 99. It's another podcast today. We've got with us Jimmy Rhodes. He is one of the band members from I Will, and he is also a nutritional coach?
Yeah. So, I run No Excuses Training, Boise, Idaho. I'm the rock and roll trainer, basically.
Yeah, hell yeah. He gives a shout out to all of the projects and the things that he's a part of towards the end of the episode. So make sure that you listen all the way through the end. It was a great show. Touched on everything from supplementation, nutrition, freedom, music, everything.
Rock and roll,
Rock
man.
and roll. We were all over the place, and that's what to expect from Channel 99. So make sure you subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Pass the
Give them a too sweet always.
Definitely.
That's a thing.
Yes.
It's a wrestling thing, man.
That's going to be on a wrestling show.
Totally.
Dope. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Dope.
Shut up and sit down.
All right, so we're talking about people who misconstrue things based on just their background, right? And their experiences. Like, everybody has different experiences. You're from the East Coast, right? You're from where? Where were you raised? New York.
Yeah.
What part of New York?
The city, and then Meriden, Connecticut, and then New Mexico.
So you've been around.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what's the biggest difference in Boise versus other places you've been to?
The pace of life.
Is it slower?
Simply that. Here, yeah, a little bit. I like to move. You know what I mean? Working out is the thing that really propels me every day because I know it's the hardest thing that I'm going to have to do.
Yeah.
So in trying to build these business ventures, with the production company and the training and these things, it's a tough market. There's a lot of competition. It's always said that in bigger cities there's more competition, but conquering the competition where you are is kind of an important step in order to get to a point of going to a bigger city, right?
Right.
So
stepping stone.
Yeah. So over the years, I've learned a lot of stuff around here, just kind of how things work and how everything is, and just kind of the pace of life. And
yeah. I've never heard that before, but it totally makes sense. The pace of life.
Yeah.
When I was in Hawaii, everything's on Hawaii time.
Exactly.
And it was totally and people kept reminding me that, the people I was staying with, because at the time it was with my then wife and her sister and husband owned a house out there on the Big Island on the Kona side.
Yeah.
So we went out there for a couple of weeks, and for the first 2 days when we'd go places, I almost got frustrated, and I would always be like, dude, this is ridiculous. Why are we waiting in line so long? Or why are we doing this for so long? There's nobody in front of us. What's going on right now? And they kept reminding me, oh, dude, we're on Hawaii time right now. This is just how they move. This is their pace of life.
Yeah.
And then it clicked to me because when I was living on the East Coast, things are a lot faster, way faster. But it's also very poignant. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
People are a little more punctual on the East Coast. They're very more real.
Direct.
Very direct, yes.
Direct is the word.
Yeah, direct. There you go.
Yeah. My mom really instilled that in me growing up.
Don't waste people's time.
Get
to the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't give me a drawn out answer. Just get to the point.
Yes
man.
or no.
Don't waste my fucking time.
Boom.
Yeah, totally. And I get that. And I get that from you too. Which is not a bad thing at all, because I think to succeed in certain capacities of life, you have to have that. You have to have a sense of urgency to get to the next thing, to accomplish the next thing.
I agree with that statement.
Does that make sense?
It
Yeah.
does.
That's the vibe I get from you.
Right on. Thanks.
Yeah, totally. And that's how I try to live my life. I hate it when people waste my time. Every girl I've dated has complained about the same thing over and over. You obsess over your time. You obsess over the time that you have, that you dictate to whatever it is you need to do. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm weird about time. You don't get time back.
That's
Money's
true.
not a problem to me. I've set myself up to I've worked my ass off, gone to school, I've done what I've done. you know, and I'm at where I'm at because of the time and the resources that I've invested into making sure that I'm going to sustain at least a decent life. You know,
Right.
nothing crazy, but enough to feel like if I want to start a family, I can start a family. You know, like I've worked my 20s off for that. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's like I have a great respect for people who do the same and they have a passion for something. And you do tons of stuff, man. I mean, you're a musician.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, but I mean, that's like almost a therapy, right?
Yeah, kinda.
It's like an outlet, but like it allows you to
Well-
pursue something more important.
I don't know that there is anything more important than that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Honestly.
It allows you the opportunity to pursue something more
Well-
important than everything else that you're doing.
Everything else that I do allows me to do that. So,
Gotcha.
you know what I mean? And like the people around me, like in that situation, like it's taken a long time to find. And so there's like a unity that we have where when we're together, like we literally are like, we vote things out.
Right.
Like literally, which is funny. If you ever had like conversations with all of us individually, you'll hear 4 different ways of thinking about every single thing that there is, you know, and somehow yet we can speak the language of music together
Yeah.
perfectly. But when we conversate, it's not always so perfect,
Right.
you know.
You talking like political things?
No, just
religion,
just our ways of saying things to each other.
just the way you commute or
Yeah, our
communicate in
communications.
general. Yeah.
Like, it's a weird dynamic that we have because we're all so different. And that, does that make sense? So,
Totally.
you know, like, training is therapy for me. Lifting, you know, eating, like prepping meals, getting to the gym to meet my people, to get them going. Figuring out, you know, the supplement game and the nutrition game, and there's all these different fads and these diets and all this stuff
Right.
that's being propagated to people. And it just, in my personal opinion, I feel a lot of the stuff that's being sold on the market these days is literally to get people to just keep buying stuff, like
Snake oil, man.
like spinning in a wheel. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like with all these crazy diets and all these techniques that really aren't designed for just normal people. They're things that like professional athletes do.
Yeah,
You
they're
know.
not functional.
Exactly.
For like their everyday life. These are people who sit at a desk and they go home and they might throw catch with their kid on
Something.
the weekend, right? Or maybe they might
I
at
don't
the
know.
most go out and they might go water ski or something like that. Like
Yeah.
as far as like exercise goes,
Right.
These aren't people who are everyday gym
No.
addicts.
Generally not. Well, that's why that stuff's appealing, because it's the quick fix, when in reality those quick fixes are designed for different people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, like movie stars, athletes, these people have teams around them that are like, these are the things that we need you to get done in order to get this contract.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
So, like, it's in the deal. Plain and simple. You will be, you know, the guy that plays Deadpool. Every movie he's in shape. Van
Yeah.
Wilder, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
He's in
Van
shape.
Wilder.
That dude, you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, he's jacked.
Every
dude.
time you see him,
He's like 40.
he's like, boom, and he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So think about it, like what he does to do that. It's not just like I can do this once or twice and that's it. It's something that, you know, once, twice, 3 times a week, you know,
It's a lifestyle.
quick workouts. I call it the Hollywood workouts. I work people 30 minutes, man. Boom. Let's roll. We're going to hit some reps. We're going to go. You're going to change how you eat, you know, slowly. Really talking to people about nutrition is the hardest thing, because there's so much misinformation, in my opinion. Tons. I found this, simple stuff like this. Eating the same stuff over and over and over is the same thing as lifting weights, right? You're doing the same stuff over and over and over. And then you get sick of it. Then you do it over and over and over and over and over. And then you get sick of it again. But guess what? If you keep going, there's like this whole mountain. It's like, remember Rocky?
Yeah.
When he runs the stairs and comes at the top? Being in shape, man, is like, there's nothing like it, like, at all. You know, like, being really able to achieve goals that you have in the weight room, or that I should speak for myself, actually, goals that I have in the weight room, being able to go in and do things that are so challenging physically that it instantly makes everything like linear, I guess, in my mind.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
It's an obsession. Your body becomes addicted to it.
Maybe.
Physically. No, it does.
I don't know.
Literally, your body does.
Because I'm going to tell you, I really enjoy my days off. Tim, my days off, man.
I believe that.
Sleeping and eating.
I don't get days off. I work out 7 days a week.
Oh, no.
Sometimes I do 2 days.
Ouch.
Bro,
Ouch.
but like, I mean,
That's
I know
a
my
lot.
body. I'm 33.
No, I
I'm
get
34.
it. Totally.
You know, and I played college football for 5 years.
I just got sore hearing that, though.
Oh no, dude! I'm not sore, and we can dive into my product. If you're a supplement, like if you're familiar with a lot of like ingredients, like raw ingredients, yeah.
What do you want to, like? You know what I mean? Like,
I could even snag. Maybe we could like.
Are we talking BCAAs, EAAs? What are we talking?
No, dude, those are waste, bro. Don't waste your money on BCAAs.
Never. There's certain things, bro. Believe me.
There's certain things you should spend your money on, but
Totally.
I think BCAAs are something that like people can probably not spend their money on. I think those are honestly like, but
if you eat enough protein,
yeah. If you eat enough, the only reason why is because branched chain amino acids are going to be in your protein.
Yeah, they're going to be there.
So if you're eating right, you don't need to supplement with it. Even if you're training hard, I would recommend supplementing more with like your electrolytes. I would say if you're gonna work out, just grab something like with electrolytes. BCAAs really don't do.
What training are you doing though?
I mean, do you want to hear my routine? I can give you like a top level breakdown.
I would love to hear it.
So my Monday through Wednesday, and this is something that I've actually recreated based on my football training through college.
Okay.
And I've just kind of manipulated it with different exercises because of since then I've had 2 knee surgeries.
Ouch.
Yeah, I have an implant in my knee. So I went from my senior year in college, I was 238 pounds. This is just to give you an idea of where I was at and where I'm at now and the different style of training I've been doing. I weighed 238 pounds. I did 26 pull-ups in that spring. My squat was 465. My deadlift was 585.
Jesus.
My bench was 370.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and my 40 was 47.
Nice.
So, I mean, I was quick, I was powerful,
Strong.
I was explosive.
Yep.
And I was in great shape. But the problem is the wear and tear that lifting and the training and everything had on my knees. I've had to kind of change things up a little bit. So back to my workout. Monday through Wednesday. So I do Monday through Wednesday is going to be my high weight, low rep, and by that I mean like maybe 6, but usually like 10 or 12, right?
Okay.
And then Thursday through Saturday is the exact same muscle groups, but I do auxiliary lifts. So Monday through Wednesday is all core, like the heavy style, and then like Thursday through Saturday is going to be
you're doing
my auxiliaries.
periodization.
Yeah, and I'm going to superset in between them. So I'll do
Nice with add-ons. Cool.
yeah. So it's like bulk in the beginning of the week, kind of shred in the end of the week, and then Sunday's a rehab day where usually I go in and I do like arm bike for 20 minutes and like regular bike for 20 minutes, and I skip rope
Do you
for like
foam
30
roll or
minutes.
stretch or do yoga or any of those things?
I used to do yoga all the time right before boxing, right before I train and spar. But I haven't. But I roll out every single day. I stretch every single day.
Yeah.
I'm pretty damn flexible for being 195 pounds.
Nice.
Damn,
you weigh more than I do.
6'2". Yeah. I think I'm just a little taller, I think.
Probably,
a little lengthier. But yeah, so I mean, I went from 238 pounds of what I was doing then to now it's like more functional style training, like
Exactly.
things that are more, because I'm never gonna have to like push maybe, but probably very slim chance I'm gonna have to push a dude like fucking bull rush a guy out of my face who weighs more than 320 pounds and they're 6'6" ever again. Right. I'm never gonna have to fucking deal with that. So it's like I'm at the point in my life where I've had multiple surgeries. I had 4 knee surgeries. I've had 2 ankle surgeries. Yeah, man. I've had 2 wrist surgeries, 2 elbow surgeries.
Ouch.
Yeah, man. I've been beat up, beat up a lot. But it's a sacrifice that a lot of people are willing to take to enjoy what the only time they're able to enjoy that.
Right.
So for me, it was a sacrifice, and I was like, I'm going to suffer the rest of my life. But as long as I'm conditioned to continuously work out, which I've always been at least 5 days a week since, for the last 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer, since like high school days, because I was, playing football and stuff. But but I just figure as long as I stay like doing that training, the Monday through Wednesday, the heavier weights, Thursday through Saturday, it tends to work out, and then my diet tends to work very well with it. And then if I am training, then I'll...
What are you eating?
Not a lot of good stuff right now.
No?
Well, sometimes I'll do like fish or like baked chicken. And I'm going to say like my macro breakdown would probably be more like a 30-30-40. And that's going to be your proteins to your fats to your carbs. So more carby. But I did keto and intermittent fasting, both, while I was training.
Yikes.
And I did it for like a year and a half, 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
And I was shredded, dude.
Yeah,
I was 196 pounds. I ate 1 meal a day.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, dude. 196 pounds, 6% body fat. And that's what I went into before my fight. But I had amazing energy, dude. I was sparring rounds on rounds for like the weeks leading up to it, and I had great energy. Perfect. But my body had been tuned into it. Like, right, exactly. It's really hard on your body. Exactly. But people would not want to jump.
Remember
into
that though, being an athlete. That's exactly what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Like, so having been an athlete, right? You can do stuff like that.
It's a mental
because
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The capacity is there to suffer, because that's all sports is, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I threw my arm out playing baseball, and which is how I got into fitness, really, because I didn't know what else to do. It was like sports was it growing up. Like, that's it.
100%.
Like, it was tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament for 3 different sports.
It's nicotine, by the way.
Right away. No, I'm okay.
Okay.
And so, like, growing up in that environment really it's like they make all these like shows, right, about like beauty pageants and stuff, like for little kids, right, and how like that messes them up. Sports is a lot like that sometimes. Like, it can get really obsessive. Where it gets obsessive is with the parents, which is crazy. I actually was coaching this little league team. I was working with a guy, and he had a son in a little league team. Oh yeah, hey, come out and see what you got. And so I went out there, and I was throwing the ball around with the kids. I started hitting them infield and stuff, and throwing them through drills that we used to do, right? Yeah. And he's like, hey man, you should come help me coach. All right, so I went and helped him coach. And basically it's like, you don't get paid to do this. None of those kids were mine, right? So parents would get mad about stuff, and I just simply finally had a meeting one day and was just like, look, like, I'm just here to...
You just emailed them all? Like, emailed every single person?
No. This is well before we started doing that.
Oh, okay.
Like, actually talked to them as a group after a game one day, because we got beat real bad.
Yeah.
We're like the Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
And it was basically like, look, none of these kids are mine. I'm just trying to teach these kids baseball. That's it. So...
Were they getting mad at you because they were losing?
Yeah, well, it's the classic, like, why isn't my kid in there, or why isn't...
Yeah.
You know? But it's like, look, like, everybody gets to play at some point, but we're at a tournament, so like, we would like to win, so we're gonna put the best kids in.
Sorry if your kid sucks. Sorry, but like, your kid sucks, man.
Right.
Put him in another sport.
Not everybody is meant to be an athlete.
Not everybody's meant to play baseball.
Exactly.
They can play football. Put them in hockey. Find something that they're good at. Maybe they're good at art or playing the fucking trumpet.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rock and roll, whatever it is.
Exactly.
But like, people are all good at different stuff. Athletics, and that's my whole point. Athletics just requires a certain killer instinct.
A certain mentality,
You know what I mean?
It does.
It really does.
There's a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to be coached.
Exactly.
The biggest issue that I always had with with people, because I used to coach, when I was playing ball. They would let me come home for about 4, maybe 8 weeks. It was usually like 4 to 6 weeks, but like one summer I got 8 weeks to come back.
Right.
And during that time, I was helping to coach the defensive line at like Capitol High School, and I was doing like powerlifting, and I was going in there and training and working out with them, and like trying to be an influence, right? And the coaches wanted me there. I think it's important for them to see like alumni who are doing something.
Right.
So, so I'd go back and I'd train with these guys, and the biggest thing I noticed with the kids that I was trying to train is the ones who listened to me, although they would get frustrated, they would continuously try to do it better. The kids who didn't want to listen to me and wanted to do it themselves, they would just like do it wrong every time and expect to play. And I'm like, no. That it doesn't work that way. Like you're not your own coach, kid. Like
exactly.
Yeah, when you yell put me in coach, yeah, there's a reason why I'm telling you to correct your form on whatever it is that you need to correct your form on,
Right.
And I was never a dick, but I was also young. And I think as you get a little bit older and you like yourself, like and by that I mean like more experienced, like you've talked to more people, you know how to interact with people, you know how to communicate things sometimes. Yeah. But you can also
it's always a challenge.
You can always impress your authority, like to an extent, right? Like listen, you're paying me to like help you. Yeah, that's how I would see it. Like, if I was training somebody and like they just continuously wouldn't do what I was telling them to do, I'd be like, hey, listen, I don't want to be a dick, but you're paying me to tell you this, and you're fucking up, like. And I think that they at a certain point, most people are going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm paying this dude a lot of money because it's not cheap to be trained, right?
It's really not. It's a luxury. It's not a necessity like getting a haircut.
Right.
Yeah, that's a necessity.
Right.
I really should have become a barber, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just kidding, but like training is a luxury item for people. So like people spending money on training, and don't get me wrong, like it's not like super expensive.
But there's time involved.
Yes, there is that.
And if they don't even take their own time seriously.
Right. Well, the people that I train always show up. There's communication all the time. If they can't make it, they let me know, so I'm not like there waiting on them.
Yeah.
Like I already know.
Yeah.
They don't waste time. I don't waste theirs. Life happens. So like my whole thoughts on training anymore, especially, being a little bit older than I was before, and still being an athlete, being super smart about my training is the best thing I can do. I found, maximum output points, and I try to teach that to people about maximum output points. Like a lot of training seems to be revolved around like training too much and like getting super sore the next day, or, getting delayed onset muscle soreness. I don't understand that mentality, really, I think, is what it is. I think that that's really not an efficient way to train. I think that, honestly, like the rest days and the nutrition side of it are much more important than what you actually do in the gym as far as, like, that kind of training is concerned, However, like a physique athlete or, an actual sports athlete or, like, a pro wrestler even, are all going to train differently than one another. And I think teaching people that that's an important thing to train for, which is realistic goals, I think that's probably one of the best things that can be taught to just, the everyday crowd in order to actually achieve fitness goals and not stay stagnant and not see things because there is no quick fix.
Dude, okay. So we were talking a little bit earlier about like recording and music, because you're in a band, you're a musician also.
Yeah.
And as you get older, I think you meet people like myself who invest in something like this, right? And provide something for bands who typically have to go to like a way more expensive spot or a less like personal spot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you were saying that that you guys like would record in like the living room, which would totally make sense because like I was in a band in junior high and we would record in the garage with like a tape, like our boom box, and we'd scrunch up a bunch of fucking paper and we'd put it in the tape to make sure that we could record over that tape, and then we recorded
in the ghetto
on, like,
blasters.
Totally, like this hella old school. Like
my very
Sony.
first band did that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But you were able to hear like what you sounded like, and you could play one song.
Well, here, like in the old band, Jay and I, like we had pro gear because we were running sound at shows.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
So like we got this tape machine in Weezer one time. It was like one of the first Crown, like 1966. I think it was half-inch tape, which is like really hard to find, I guess. And it was solid state, and it was kind of big and bulky, but we recorded on that thing, and it sounded great.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And it probably had like a certain style to it.
Yeah, and like I don't know where that tape is.
You should find it, because I bet you can find somebody to convert that to digital for you.
But I mean, the sound of it was like, so like early on, like having these really cool experiences, like something like that.
Yeah.
Just from a tech side of it.
Totally.
Like really shaped like how stuff should sound. So for me, recording, even with the band, like we all agree that like like when we record, it should definitely be recreatable live. 100%.
Because that's where people make their money now.
Yeah.
It is. Like, you're not going to make money on streams. Like, let's be real.
Right.
You need to have a lot of streams to make enough money.
Right.
To make it worth it.
Well, yeah, because the industry changed.
Yeah.
So, well, like even here, for instance, like, so kind of something I've been thinking about is changing the model on how shows even get booked.
How so?
Just, like, think about it. Like, back in the early 2000s, like, people in Boise used to go out and party every night.
Right.
There was something going on every night somewhere. Now it's different.
How so?
That doesn't happen anymore.
There's so many shows that like
right.
There's concerts everywhere.
Exactly.
So are you saying that like there were even more concerts before?
No, I'm saying that there wasn't such a thing as like going out to see concerts.
Oh, okay.
There was simply this. People went out to party.
Gotcha.
So,
and music was a part of the process.
There you go.
So it was like partying with music instead of music with partying.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was definitely that early on in the early 2000s. Like all the shows around had decent draws. Even like in 2010, 2011, in that era, 2009, the crowds were like getting bigger. There was like, it was actually like really crazy. Like the transition.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In just a few years. And so now, though, it's exactly what you said. It's music where there's partying.
Right.
So
there's so much music. Dude,
exactly.
I went to like 4 concerts last week, and I didn't even want to go to any of them.
Right.
And I went to all 4 of them.
Right.
Only because it's like, well, there's live music. They're great artists. I might as well go out and do something with my life tonight. Mm-hmm. Whereas that makes sense because even like 4 or 5 years ago, I think it's because
it's oversaturated now.
Well, I think it's because like Facebook has made it so easily accessible. Everybody creates an event.
Right.
Like, let's be real. Like, Lyrics Born just messaged me back. Like 3-4 years ago, or whenever before they even like implemented the whole Facebook events like page.
Yeah.
That would have never been possible. I would have never known he was going unless somebody told me, posted about it,
right? Or
I was reading the Boise Weekly about the upcoming shows. Literally, that's how
it used to be that simple.
I used to go to the Boise Weekly and just look through the shows all the time. Be like, all right, well, this is the one I want to go to. This is the one I want to go to.
Yep.
Whereas now it's like I've said I'm going, so I almost obligate myself to go to 4 shows a week.
Right.
Because now Facebook tells me this is going down. When I show up, it's a party.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's how, but...
I'm not going for the party. I'm going for the music, but it turns into a party.
Right, but understand, like, going into work like that...
Right.
Like, stay out of the party, because there's more to play than just that. That's... In all reality, that's really a good thing to have that much entertainment.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
And Boise's grown since, I want to say, 2010. I want to say Boise has grown 100,000 in population, which is like a lot. Like,
yeah, it's a ton.
Like a ton. Considering the whole valley is probably, what, 750,000 maybe? Like,
sure, I have no
maybe.
idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's grown more than 10% in the last 9 years. And I'm going to assume, obviously, with a population increase, you're going to see a lot more musical influence in the valley. You're going to have a lot of local people. They compete with one another, so it makes them better. I see it all the time.
It is a competition.
They do compete, and it's good and it's important, and that's what it should be about,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that
literally,
over time, a lot of these bands are probably going to integrate. And some of the smaller ones are going to split, and some of the better players are going to join other bands where certain people may leave for personal, reasons. And I'm excited to be a part of it, which is why it's cool that you're on my show. But I'm excited to be a part of the local scene because I've slowly even started to see the evolution of the local scene, even in the last year and a half.
Right.
And the next 10, 12 years, I'm sure I'm going to be doing this for a long time. Over the course of the next few years at least, I bet I'm going to see a lot of these bands transform, dissolve, recreate, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, you play what instruments do you play?
Mainly just guitar and sing.
Okay. And your band again is?
I Will.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it's spelled EYEWILL.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out earlier, and you were like, "No, it's EYE," and I was like, "There's no E on Will." And I was like, "Well, I'm so dumb right now."
That's all right.
Yeah, it happens.
Now they made sure to spell it out on the radio once, which was really cool of them. Just so no one got confused, I guess.
Is that 100.3 the X?
Yeah,
during the local hour of the local play.
Yeah,
that's what's up. Yeah. And that's Randy who runs that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's super
Randy.
cool.
He's a cool dude.
So
I ran into him at Albertsons the other day.
Oh, right on.
So his real job is he's a marketing dude for Albertsons.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know that. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say real job, but his other job, his main job, I guess, is his 9 to 5.
I got you.
But yeah, I would have never guessed. He works right across the street from me, so I was like, dude, we need to go hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he puts on a lot of cool shows. It's really cool to see what he's doing with the local scene, trying to bring a lot of the free shows to the Knitting Factory with all the local bands.
There was an issue on Facebook the other day. There's some event going on here locally soon, and a local band from here went to the promoter and said if they'd let him headline, they'd play for free. And caused kind of this uproar with a bunch of people about why would you say that?
So they're just trying to undercut everybody to get the spot,
to get the headlining spot. It's some sort of event, like kind of a mini fest or something.
Okay, is it the Metal Fest or whatever?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Who or what it was about. I glimpsed at it and just kind of was like, wow,
that's crazy.
And passed it. So,
well,
yeah. It's always been that way.
There's
here.
drama though. Oh yeah, and it's healthy again to have competition, but it's not healthy to be.
Well, here's the argument.
A snake. Yeah.
This is the argument. Is playing music is super expensive. Requires a lot of time to get really good at it. It takes years of dedication and practice. It's an art. It's a craft.
Yeah.
So.
And you have to work with other people in a band, so that's a whole nother experience, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's literally like being in a relationship with 3 other people. It's literally that.
Right.
It's an intense dynamic. It really is. But with the live thing, playing for free is hurting because everyone should get paid for their play.
Yeah.
It's a job if you really look at it. The one thing I can say is production values per band, I believe if they went up, people invested a little bit of money, lights, fog machines, things like that.
You're talking local bands?
Yes.
Okay.
In the Boise area.
Boise scene.
This is my scene, so a little bit more production to stuff. And we could get some, ritzier shows, so to speak, for lack of a better term.
Right.
I really think that would help propel the better bands around, to...
Well, it's going to make them improve their game.
Totally.
To make them a little better.
But the audience is going to react better, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
It's all about the entertainment value,
exactly.
man. Yeah.
That's kind of
People
one
are
thing
there for a show.
I've always thought lacked for a long time was just production value overall. I mean, it's one thing, like to be Nirvana and like get up in your jeans and whatever, and like it was okay. And I'm not saying people shouldn't dress how they want.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, that thing just kind of worked for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Know your demographic.
Right.
Know who listens to your music.
Right.
Know who's gonna like your shit. Which is what I do
Right.
for a living. What pays my bills, but I also take that into consideration heavily with everything else that I do on the
Right.
side, with my projects and my hobbies and everything like that. It's very true. You have to consider who listens to your music. The one thing that fucking pisses me off is copycats. People, dude, I know somebody, he's a business guy, and every time he talks to me, he's like, yeah, I've seen this guy doing this, so I'm going to start doing that, but I'm going to do it like 2 and 3-fold. Like, I'm just going to start hammering down on that style. And I'm like, dude, he already has that style down. You're not going to pull many people, if anybody, away from that. Like, you create your own content, you create your own style, you just be who you are, and it'll come. Like, don't force it. But when you become a copycat, people see that.
I agree.
People do see it, and they see that you are just trying to be like everybody else, and you become generic. You're not a brand, you're generic. And you want to have your own brand, your own style. That's something that I pride myself on with my podcast, especially with my photography, because I've had people who, have given me amazing feedback, and they say, when I see your stuff, I know it's your stuff. Like, I know it's your style. Like, you just have a certain style. And I have people who follow my photography, like photographers and stuff. And it's because, you can't replicate originality. Right. Like, and if you can, it's going to be a knockoff. And again, you become generic. And if you can't I give people credit for wanting to be the best they can. And I think that if somebody's able to rip off the competition and make it better, then do it, but do it with your own flair and do it with your own style. Don't try to replicate it, because that's going to be called out by the people who actually appreciate that style, and they're not going to like that. Like, they know, like,
right.
Yeah. If somebody's trying to if you try to Chinese knockoffs for, like, let's say Air Force Ones or like Air Jordans.
Yeah.
You're going to know that it's a knockoff. It looks the same.
Right.
It might even feel the same.
But it's not a Jordan.
But it's not a Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
Air Force Ones, man.
Air Force Ones.
Do they still make those?
I don't know, probably.
I haven't seen a pair of those in a long time.
I haven't heard of that in a long time. Those are the only two shoes that I really know much about that are,
I totally get it. Popular. That's just one of those things, though. Like, with anything, like I said, saturation, that happens.
Yeah,
it just does.
But those are the people who
everything just gets saturated.
They become stagnant. You find your niche.
Truth.
You find who wants your stuff, and you create a loyalty.
Truth. Yeah, you've got to definitely get out to people and connect on a personal level, man. One of the biggest things, just getting invited to do things, is things like that. Like, social media is a huge deal anymore.
Totally.
A lot of stuff, it gets judged on that too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, getting invited to festivals, like, literally depends
look at your stuff,
at how much of a following you have online.
Yeah.
Now, think about it like an invite, right? So say, like, out of...
It can, and I can, and the only reason I'm going to play devil's advocate is because in both of my corners, I am the exact opposite. But I agree with you 100%. But I'm going to come back with a counter argument, only because I think that there are people out there who are in a position where that is not the truth. Continue, though, because you're 100% right on the right track. This is for, like,
these are like rules
99%
of stuff that they've literally put out, promoters.
Yes.
Like, this is what we want to see out of a band.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So, I mean, it's a big deal anymore. It really is.
Yeah.
What it does is it shows that you try. It shows that you're trying to connect. It shows that you are putting in the work in order to actually do something. You know, like, have you heard the new Baroness record?
Never.
Golden, I think it's called Golden Gray is their new one. All their records
Ooh, I think I've heard Golden Gray.
all their records are colors. So
Okay.
it's like the red album, the blue album, golden yellow, or yellow and green, I mean, then the purple album.
Kind of like
then,
Weezer.
But way cooler.
But it's like the same thing. Like
I guess.
they
I
have
don't
a very
know.
like a very, but it's attractive to a
Yes.
certain demographic who appreciate
They're
just bland
great.
and originality, but somebody who has character and creativity.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Exactly.
It's very and that's what I try to do with my kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Even with the clothes that I wear, typically, it's gonna be very plain.
Yeah.
I'm not flamboyant with like any of the graphics that I have. Nothing
Dude, I wear
super
gym
colorful.
clothes all the time.
All the time, dude. I mean, dude, you showed up to my house and I'm wearing gym clothes.
Totally.
All the time.
I just got done working out and shit.
Well, and then you rode your bike like
Yeah.
over to my house.
Totally, dude.
Which is fucking awesome. And I need
Did
to
you
get
see
my
my
bike
concussion I got?
up. I saw your whole face that you
Yeah.
got. Yeah, you went down hard,
Yeah,
bro.
my face, dude, I didn't see it curb and I turned around, and when I turned back around, it was there, and I just went boom, and I face
just
planted.
ate shit.
And yeah, it was gnarly, dude, but I'm better now. I got a concussion real bad.
You don't wear a helmet or anything?
No, I probably should.
Probably. Especially if you ride that much.
I don't know,
And you're
dude.
probably pushing hard, man. And by that, I mean, like, most people who ride a bike probably don't ride it like you do.
Probably.
make-
I don't
yeah,
know.
I-
I've seen some dudes that can ride.
Yeah, but it's not a lot of them. I'm saying in
It depends
general.
where I'm at. Like, through the city, like through traffic and stuff, I take it pretty mellow.
Okay.
Just because there's like entrances and exits everywhere.
True.
So, you know, I want to make sure that I can see everything.
Yeah.
Once I hit like the green belt, or once I hit like a trail, or once I hit something like that, I wear a helmet if I go on the dirt. But once I hit some sort of a bike path, like that's when I push it. You know,
Gotcha.
because then to me it's a competition of like, I know that I can do this in 3 songs instead of 4.
Yeah. I'm the same way,
Yeah.
man. I usually try to like finish a set of like a full blown like circuit in like 1 or 2 songs. So I'm like, all right, I know the song's 4 minutes long.
Right.
I know the next song's 3.5 minutes long.
Yeah,
I
just
can crush
go.
this in at least 7 minutes. Let's
Right.
do this. Yeah. And-
Timing stuff.
Yes.
Like that's super important. Like and that's what I was saying earlier. Like with like athletic training, even playing music, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. So it's like this whole rock and roll trainer thing, right? Like, I mean, literally, like I actually have trained some musicians and like shown them some stuff, and like things get better the more flexible you are. You know, the more endurance you have. Performing's tough if you're up there
Dude.
feeling it. You know, if you're feeling it.
Bro, let me give you an experience.
You know?
When I was on stage with We Were Giants
Yeah.
at Spokane, and it was a packed full house, right?
It was awesome, right?
When I got done with their show, and I think they only played for like 30 minutes,
Right.
when they got finished, I was ready to go to bed. And I wasn't
Nice.
playing music. I wasn't like singing. I wasn't doing anything. I was running around with the camera on stage, filming a music video and taking photos.
Nice.
That's all I was doing.
Right. It's a lot of work.
And I even told that to him when we finished the show. I was like, dude, that is, it was a marathon.
Exactly.
Like, I literally felt like I ran, like I sprinted a marathon in 30 minutes. I
Nice.
was so tired and so sweaty, but it was very rewarding.
Exactly.
Extremely rewarding. Like when I got done, it was just like running. Like when you get done running and you get that high.
Exactly.
Like not only did I get like that physical high because I was coming down from all that adrenaline and that excitement, but then I was also just high on life, knowing that like I just did something, you know, that
Yeah,
I'd
that
never
was
done
awesome.
before. Yeah, I've never
Right?
done
Isn't it
something
great
like that
to,
before. Yeah.
to like achieve something that you never thought, like you always wanted to, and then it happens?
It just happens.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's what
amazing.
and that's kind of what we're talking about for business, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If you love what you do and you do what you love, people are going to recognize that, and that creates loyalty.
Right.
And eventually the sacrifice, where the sacrifice is, for the most part, they're going to pay off, man.
Exactly.
And
There's a lot of them too, believe me.
dude, I believe it. And you've been in the game forever. I only just started podcasting
Yeah.
about with my studio, Channel 99, last August.
Right.
And I feel like I'm always getting better. I'm always getting better people on my show.
Yeah.
And
This
the
is smart.
stories. Well, it's smart. but like I didn't go into it thinking like this is a business move. I went into it because I just love people, and I love that people love what they do, and I like people to share their passion with everybody that I can get it out to.
I got you.
Because I'm super passionate. This is my passion,
right?
You know, in photography and like anything like creative side. Because in my real life and my real job, my 9 to 5. It's very structured. It's numerically driven. I'm an analyst.
Right.
I'm a consultant.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, I'm sitting inside of like an Excel spreadsheet for the majority of my day.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the one time, like I get very minimal stimulation when it comes to creativity, because a lot of my templates are, you know, they're prefabbed by my clients and everything. So I don't really get to play along with it and do what I want to do. The things that I do get to, when I do have time for my real job, the things I do get to do outside of like our contractual obligations, they are very creative, and I do a lot of really fun things with those, but it's not often. And so for me, I had to have something else stimulate the right side of my brain. And I come from a family that, my grandfather, he owned multiple radio stations here in the Valley. He owned the first FM radio station, like country radio station, country radio, like country FM radio station. Like, I mean, he owned tons of like radio stations here in the Valley. And I grew up, like you were saying, on the 1/2-inch tape, you know, in his I guess a studio, but we would like go in there and he'd be having like a talk show going on or something like that with like an artist or whatever. Nice. And we would just sit there and geek out, and we would talk on the mics and record our voices and rewind it and listen to ourselves. And that was like what we would do to hang out with Grandpa, you know. We'd hang out and listen to records and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's kind of going back to like your DNA. It's kind of ingrained in my DNA to abuse the right side of my brain, but to take advantage of the left side. And by that I mean like be extremely analytical in the decisions that you make, and make sure you make the right decisions, but also be free. Like don't constrict yourself, but also know that there's boundaries to what you should and shouldn't be doing. Always. Or like know where you're at in life and stuff like that. So fortunately, I have a background that has kind of developed me in a way to enjoy both aspects of life, because I know people who do what I do and they hate their lives, but it pays their bills. They're working paycheck to paycheck.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. But I love being an analyst. I absolutely love it. Like it's one of my favorite things to do, because I do get to see a change in the things that I do. It just takes like a year to review those clients and make sure that they're on the right path. But it's the same with you though, right? Like you like to develop yourself, personal development, but you also get some type of pleasure out of making sure that others reach their goals.
Yeah, totally. And that's why I do it.
Yeah.
Really.
Totally.
Like, it's just the thing. Like, I know what it did for me, so being able to share it with people, Like I said, I've been playing sports since I was probably 5. So, it's like, it's just, I don't know anything else,
You're conditioned.
Pretty much.
Same thing with me.
To just go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Go,
like,
man.
That's sports. It was like, go to school, go to class, play. Go to school, go, you know what I mean? Like, or go to practice, go play. Like, boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Just nothing but. We went everywhere.
And that's so important, dude. It's so important.
It was tiring.
Yeah, but you learn so many different things, right? You learn how to work and you learn how to work with others and develop different skill sets, because you have to work with people who are different. They see things different. They communicate different. They interpret things different, Totally. And like, obviously you're like a natural born leader, like you're.
Thanks. I don't know about all that. But.
Well, and by that I mean like people are going to naturally look at you for an answer if they don't have an understanding, or if they do have a question. No, that's not possibly. You're not gonna be in the roles that you're in without being a natural born leader. And I'm not saying you are a leader as far as like you lead a bunch of people and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
but you have a certain type of personality that attracts people
Nice.
to. Well, I guess it just attracts people to you.
I like the word vision.
Yeah.
Is my favorite word on that sentence, just because, not that I know anything different than anybody else, because it's kind of all been written already.
Yep.
I've learned how to find people that share that, no matter what facility they share it in, and it's just kind of like, hey, you're really good at this. Do this, please. Okay. Hey, you're really good at this. Do this, please. Oh, yes. Like,
Right.
And then just kind of build this like team of people that just like, it's go time.
Well, and you see the growth.
Yeah, and you can
And
count
you
on
see
them.
the development. Yeah, exactly. The people who are dedicated to
Yeah.
it. There is a personal.
Because this isn't easy, man. Like I said, like just the entertainment business of itself isn't easy.
But it translates.
Like getting people out to shows isn't easy. Advertising isn't easy. Like none of the stuff. It's kind of like an uphill battle almost.
Right.
Like all the time.
And are you so when you're fighting this battle? Is it you're fighting the battle against like Instagram and Facebook?
No, just getting anymore. Like I was saying earlier, it's just getting people out.
Yeah.
Like because a lot of times, like you said, there's a show everywhere all the time.
So many shows.
So it's like booking a show. It's like then there's like a Garth Brooks concert. Like holy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is that the same weekend as your guys' show?
Yeah, actually it is. Hey, we'll see.
Well, but think about it. People who listen to Garth Brooks, they probably don't listen to your guys' style of music, right?
You never know.
They might.
A lot of people anymore, like I know
It's
when I
more
was
for the experience.
when I was
True.
growing up, like people would say, "What's your favorite type of music?" Metal. Like now, people like I listen to everything.
Everything.
But what does that mean? Because everything could be everything. There's so much out there.
I had this conversation the other day, and I was talking about how before social media, before Spotify, before like all the music streaming services,
Yeah.
you listened to like punk, rap,
Right?
and metal.
That was it.
And nowadays, metal is like metalcore and
It's
like
subgenres
it's
to hell.
subgenres, and I mean you can
Yeah.
break it out. I mean, it just along the lines, and each one of those subgenres can be broken out into other subgenres.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, until you get to the indie, and
It's
then
like-
the indie gets broken
It's
out.
like biology class, dude. Remember when you had to do like the phylum and the genus and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Like the whole diagram
And
for
you-
what? God damn, it's been so long. You know what I'm talking about, though, like the classifications of like plants and animals.
Yeah, yeah.
Into all the Latin words.
Yeah.
That thing, yeah.
It's literally your genus and species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the sub.
Yeah.
Like everywhere.
It's like, okay, well,
That's-
it's a monkey, but there's a fucking ton of monkeys.
Totally.
Totally.
That's seriously what the music landscape looks like right now. I'm serious. It's crazy.
But do you think that's good or bad?
On that level, like I said earlier, like it's really good to have diversity.
But the saturation.
There's just too much. Like, as with anything, if there's just too much, it's not good.
Right.
It doesn't matter what it is. McDonald's, lifting weights, riding your bike even. Like, I have days, like my rest days, which I love, where I don't do anything physical at all.
That must be nice.
Dude, recovery.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Well, I guess my recovery is more like riding the bike lightly, doing the arm bike, stretching.
Sure.
That's like my recovery.
See,
on
I do those
Sunday.
things too. After for me, like I do a lot of weightlifting, but I do like a lot of active weightlifting.
Right.
Right. So these days, like I'm less about like how many, sets and pounds and that kind of thing I can do. And I'm more into like, how can I get 30 of these things done as quick as possible?
Right.
And then do that
It's
3 or 4
not about
times.
the weight. It's about,
Right.
yeah, the conditioning.
Exactly.
aspect.
And
Yeah.
just focusing more on just being functional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
The size will come. You got to eat for it. The shredded comes.
Yeah.
Like, so, like a fitness model, right? I've done the fly racing catalog now the last 2 years in a row. And, like their motocross stuff. And I literally have to be a certain size in order to fit into the stuff, right? Like, this is a real thing, like, with this industry.
Oh, I know how that goes.
So, like I was telling you earlier, like 5, 6, 7 months out of the year, like I'm just now kind of like hit a break where like I am just eating like beef and rice. instead of the chicken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, I don't even care right now. Like, I'm eating ice cream, dude. Like, sometimes I go to McDonald's. I like the China Grand Buffet.
I love China Grand
Right?
Buffet.
Like,
So
seriously.
good.
We went there for lunch the other day. I was painting this house.
Talked about it on my podcast yesterday.
Nice.
Dude, China Grand's bomb.
Yeah.
I'm
But you see
right
what
there
I'm
with
saying?
you. But you're salt loading.
I'm just,
So,
dude,
right?
I'm just eating, bro. Like,
That, me too.
it gets old doing that and, like, need a break, you know? Which, for me, it's the summertime. I don't even care. I really don't.
Likewise.
Like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to still go out and do what I'm going to do. The physique that I've worked for over the years is still basically there. You know, I'm a little bit heavier than I'd like to be right now.
But in 2 weeks, honestly, this is how I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, I can tell myself in 2 weeks, I can drop probably 4% on my body fat.
Easy.
Just by going straight keto.
Yeah.
And tracking my calories and my macros because I've done it.
Exactly.
I mean, I took a fight in
So-
like 5 days
See,
one
so,
time.
like, for you, like, that works, like, tracking everything?
It does.
Cool.
I use
I'm anti that, is why I asked.
the only reason I do
Yeah.
it is I don't care what I eat as long as it fits my macros. So if I'm like,
Okay.
oh man, I need to get carbs and fats, I'm like, I'm gonna go buy a donut and I'm
Seriously?
gonna go eat a donut. Yeah, totally, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude, yeah, totally. Like, but I wouldn't
I mean,
do
I
that
get
all
it.
the time.
I
But I
totally
mean,
get it.
like, if I have to hit my macros and I've been
Right.
eating beef jerky and Tic Tacs all day, you know, because I'm
Ouch.
trying to hit like a certain, and like protein shakes, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
Like,
do.
trying to hit my numbers.
Ouch.
See,
I don't know how you do that. I have to actually eat food.
well, I do eat food,
Oh
but it's like it's very standard, right? So like when I was tracking it, it would be cottage cheese. It's a lot of dairy for the protein during the day when I was not intermittently fasting.
Right.
For like only 6 months of the last like 2.5 years or whatever that I've been doing it, almost
Yeah.
3 years. But it was like protein shakes because I was doing a 40. What was it? 40, 30, 20.
Yeah.
No, it was a 40, 35, 25. Sorry.
40,
So it was like
okay.
40% protein,
Right.
but I was trying to consume 3,800 calories a day.
Okay.
So it was like chicken breast, chicken thighs, like brown, a lot of
Everything.
dark meat, like because you want to get
Right.
your fats in there, and then
You know the best place to get fats, man? Avocados and olive oil.
I
Those are the
ate
best.
5 pounds of guacamole last week.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count,
No.
but it's still kind of fatty. But
Totally.
but yeah, I mean,
It kind of might count. I don't know. Like, I literally tell people, like, eat a whole avocado in a day. You'll get your fats.
for sure
You
you
know
get
what
your
I mean?
fats. Yeah,
That's the most important macro.
Well, I used to take spoonfuls when I was super hardcore. I
Like
would
peanut
like
butter?
I would take a spoonful of like olive oil for my fats.
Oh, yeah.
I would just like down a
Oh,
spoonful of that. Or
I'll
in the
drink that
morning,
stuff.
I'd take a bump of like coconut oil. So
like
I'd take
coconut
like
oil.
I'd take like a big. Technically, it was like 2 teaspoons worth, but it was like you know, I would take like a big scoop of coconut oil right in the morning to give me a quick little bump on my.
Right. Were you
know,
keto
on my-
dieting at this point?
my metabolism. Yeah. But then I
Okay.
wouldn't eat anything the rest of the day. It was like I'd get up in the morning
Oh
and
my god,
I'd bump that and then
dude,
yeah.
that's
But
gnarly.
I stayed, you know what? I actually
couldn't do it.
gained like 4 pounds and lost like 2% body fat when I was keto.
Thank you, dude.
It was crazy, bro.
Tell me this.
And I competed and I fought and I won. So
So who did what right?
I did it right.
Exactly.
I think I did it right.
There
I
you
mean,
go. I'm so glad you just said that. I have this super huge thing. This is like my one rant that I'm going to go on.
Yeah, do it, man.
This is it.
Do it.
I have this one simple thing. The statement that muscle weighs more than fat. I hate hearing that statement, and this is why. A pound of muscle and a pound of fat are what?
It's the same pound.
Right.
It's a pound.
Here's the gig. If that was a true statement, right? So someone walking around at 215, 15% body fat, right? 85% of their muscle or their body tissue is lean mass.
Right.
Okay? 15% of that's fat mass, correct? So when someone cuts down to 180 pounds and 4% body fat, 3-4% body fat in that range, how is it that they've now increased their muscle mass 12%, right? 11 or 12%, but yet they've lost 30 pounds. Like, how is that possible if that is true?
Because it's not true.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's not true, man.
Totally.
And it's all based on an algorithm, right? You can get 12 by dividing 24 by 2 or multiplying 3 by 4. You know, like, you can get the same number and the same improvement out of many different types of situations. And in my opinion, it's all in how you train, and it's all in the type of training that you do.
Knowing your
that's
body.
Applicable. Yes, that's applicable to what you're actually trying to achieve, and your body. Knowing what you can do.
Seriously.
Knowing where not your weak points, knowing where your opportunities lie, right? Like, knowing the things that you should be working on, the things that you're already really good at.
Things that need improved.
Yes.
That's like the first part of every workout.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go to the thing you know.
So I got a question for you.
Boom.
About working out.
Yeah.
And this is something that I stay true to, and I don't even know the science behind it. I've never even looked it up.
Yeah.
But I always pass it along and tell people this is what worked for me, but I don't know the science, and don't quote me, don't pass it along saying that I told you. When I was in football, we would start so we would work out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday was cardio. And we would do one core lift every one of those lifting days.
Right.
So we would always start the workout with a leg exercise. So we would do, like, Mondays would be like
That
your
makes
core
sense.
day.
Were you like a linebacker?
I was actually defensive end, and
Okay.
I was a rover linebacker. Yeah,
Okay.
so I was a hybrid. I was like a
Gotcha.
two-point stance.
I
Yeah,
just
kind of weird.
From looking at you, like, that's kind of what I would imagine.
It's exactly,
You
yeah.
know
So
what I
I was
mean?
like a 2-point defensive end,
Right.
which is basically I'm a stand-up defensive end.
Gotcha.
But I also played in
So
like a two-tech, like
all
a
those
three
exercises
technique and
make
one
perfect
technique.
sense.
They do, and but the ideology behind it was that if you hit your legs, so I'm gonna give you an example of literally what we would do. So we would do, like, our actual core workout for Monday would be squats, back squats,
Right.
and then we'd supplement it with all these different things. But Tuesdays
Little
we would do
drills.
yeah, and Tuesdays we would do, like, deadlifts,
Right.
and then Thursdays we would do hang cleans,
Okay.
and then Fridays we would do front squats.
So basically, it's
right?
Olympic lifting.
Yeah,
It's CrossFit.
but
before
we would,
CrossFit.
But we would do the reason why, and again, like, the reason why that we trained like this was because you only have so much time
Right.
for a workout before you're completely drained, adrenally, hormonally. Like, your test is going to peak at a certain point, and then you drop.
Your output.
And they would always tell us, like, hit your legs, hit a core, like, hit one of your legs at the very beginning of every workout, and you're going to spike your testosterone levels to improve that exercise. So you're going to get the most out of it because your legs are the largest muscle group
Growth
in your body.
hormone.
Yeah, so it was a natural test
When you
boost.
sleep.
Yeah, and it was like a natural test boost every time we worked out. And I've always, the improvement that I saw and the gains and the strides that I made during those years in training on that team and pushing myself, I knew that it worked for me. And so I passed it along. I just didn't know, are you familiar? Is there an actual science behind that? Like,
I disagree with it, honestly.
Okay.
I like, kind of said it underneath, but, like, the thing that I've found, and again, you can ask 20 people and get 20 different answers, but it's not that it spikes your testosterone from that. It's from when you go to bed, your growth hormone spikes from doing legs, right? Because of the size of the muscle group, the largeness of it, right?
Okay.
So when you sleep and eat is when you recover, right?
Yeah.
So you don't grow while you're tearing down. That's what rest days are for, right? So by manipulating the body to produce extra whatever,
Putting in a stress mode,
exactly,
essentially.
Exactly.
And, like, your legs will put it in a stress mode, thinking, like,
right,
possibly, like, evolutionarily, we would probably have been running down our game at that point, right? Or we would have been, like, probably moving boulders or something out of our way, or whatever it was, to get to whatever it is we need to eat.
Like,
It's
I
a survival
discovered
mode.
that I have runner's legs.
What's
so
that?
Like, I do everything high rep when I do legs.
Me too.
Just because of the fact that, like, going low rep doesn't really serve me as well.
But and you're never gonna, like, need to. When are you ever gonna have to squat, like?
I don't squat.
400 pounds.
I
You
never
don't
squat.
ever squat.
No, I
Not
still
even
do
like
that
a
kind of
lightweight.
weight though.
Yeah.
But I do it on the leg press.
Ah, gotcha.
See, same benefit. It's just not putting all that stress on my body.
Right.
There's a lot of exercises I don't do. Barbell bench press, don't do that ever.
You know what? I actually quit doing barbell bench press about 8 months ago.
Right.
And I've moved more towards like cable work
And dumbbells.
Exactly. I've always worked on dumbbells for the latter half of the week because I can throw up like the high reps on the lower weight,
Right.
you know, and I don't have to take a bench up for somebody who actually wants to use a bench.
Right.
So for me,
to hurt
it
their
was,
shoulders.
Yeah.
Seriously, dude, that's a shoulder wrecker.
Well, if you don't know how to do it, right? Like if you're controlled,
All that weight, like a lot of guys that bench real heavy, like dudes I went to high school with.
oh, jacks their shoulders
now
up,
their
man.
shoulders are all
They're all
jacked.
jacked, bro.
Going that heavy in that position really isn't
Yeah.
smart.
It's not.
That's a lot of weight.
It's not applicable. Your body.
Exactly.
When are you ever going to use? And I always tell people this, like when they're doing like decline bench press. I'm like,
Yeah, seriously.
when are you going to use a decline? I'm like, when you
Right.
get out of a pool. That's literally every time. I'm like, the only time I've ever thought about using a decline bench press is if I need to get out of a fucking pool.
Right.
I didn't do a decline all through football. Never,
Or a
not
dip.
once. Well, yeah, because you're never using these when do you use those motions?
They
when
still
you're hopping, when you're
the
hopping
thing
a fence.
with the muscle function is like the chest works the whole time, no matter what angle you're at.
yeah.
The decline is literally, from what I've studied, the least useless of the three.
It's
from the incline and the
100%
flat.
useless. You're
Yeah.
never going to use it.
Seriously.
Unless you're getting out of a pool.
And doing dips.
And doing dips.
You know what I mean?
There's no reason.
Shoulder wreckers.
Yeah.
Seriously,
yeah,
the dips
yeah.
are. I actually
Yeah.
hurt my shoulder a long time ago doing dips.
I usually do dips. It's not often anymore. But
I
if
never
I do,
know.
it's a stretch. I get deep
I do
and
a little bit of that,
stretch
yeah.
my shoulders out and I
Yeah.
stretch my chest out a little bit and I manipulate
Yeah.
my body. You know, I'll you flex your core and you put your feet out a tiny bit behind you and you kind of get like a good stretch and it kind of warms muscles up. But
Totally.
I don't ever really do dips as an
No.
actual workout.
No,
It just doesn't.
They're shoulder
It
wreckers.
doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't.
It doesn't. Doesn't.
know,
and people don't even get down deep enough anyways to make it even worth it if it was worth it.
Well,
Most people don't even know how to do it.
That's rough on the shoulders,
Yeah.
you know?
People just People,
My new thing's pull-ups.
Mm.
I just try to do as many of them as I can in a day. Like when I go hit a ride,
Yeah.
I'll stop at one of the parks and just bang out pull-ups.
Well, I was listening to a guy, I forget his name off the top of my head. He was an NFL guy, and this is years ago when I was playing football. And I remember him saying that body weight, because you're big on the body weight resistance.
Very much.
100%.
Very
dude.
much. Well,
I'm
think about
so
it like
with you.
this. If you can't move that around,
Yeah.
why are you trying to move
More
other
weight.
stuff that's more weight,
Yeah.
but it's external? Like, get good at what your body does first. Body control, just like they teach us in sports. Like, I played football as well, not to the level that you did, but, baseball and soccer took over for me.
Yeah.
So those are my sports.
But it's the same mentality.
But it's the same thing in each
Yeah.
sport. Like,
Yeah.
just striving to be the best, because that's competition. It's kind of like the band thing.
Yeah.
To me, I see everything that way. It's like, how can we get this done? I never see
Better.
anything else. Just how can we get this done?
Yeah.
And along the way, it just gets better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at least that's what I see anymore.
Well, and this guy was talking about how he was in the NFL, and he was talking about how he's only done body weight resistance on his workouts.
Right?
And I think the science behind it, and again, this is something that I didn't research because it's not my style of working out, but it was something that I took a mental note of. But he basically led to like your body will naturally go into a panic mode, and it increases your norepinephrine, your dopamine, like it increases your
you get
adrenaline,
elevated,
your adrenaline, your noradrenaline. Yeah, you get elevated, and your body reacts so differently because it thinks that it's in like defense mode, like
Right.
it's panicking. Your body panic, although you may not be freaking out like mentally, your body's freaking out,
Right.
thinking that it's in panic mode, and that is literally the best way to train because it dumps all of your hormones all at once.
Exactly.
Survival mode. You
Exactly.
know, it's fight or flight at that point. But like your brain, like your mentality when you're training, you're not thinking fight or flight, but your body's like, holy shit, you need to fucking run or you're gonna die.
Yeah.
It doesn't know the difference, but your brain does because it's been conditioned to knowing that you're in that environment and what you're doing.
Right.
But your body's like, whatever, dude, I'm freaking the fuck out.
Totally.
So is that pretty true? Is that kind of how it does work? Because it made sense to me, but again, I haven't looked into it.
That actually sounds great to me. I've never thought of it in those terms, honestly. I think of it just in terms of like preparation. I mean, everything is just, it's how much preparation are you willing to do?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of things in life where like not in the not 9 to 5 world where like there's so much preparation that has to be done and there's no one else to do it. So if it doesn't get done, it's always on you or on me, right? Like, Gesundheit. Gesundheit again.
Thank you.
Quit your damn sneezing.
Damn.
So, getting everything done by myself in my training is very stressful sometimes, you know, like, it's even worse like working at a chain gym, actually. And there's like a ton of people to choose from, but the thing is like at a place, you know, at a gym, like people don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
And there's this mentality I've noticed that where
People don't want to be sold to, they want to buy into something.
exactly.
So
yeah.
So if you're looking, the one thing that bothers me is when people try to sell something to me. I'm like, hey, listen, man, if I'm looking for it, I'll fucking find you.
That's pretty much how
Like,
it works.
yeah,
Like I
and-
said, it's a luxury and not a necessity.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like training is definitely not a necessity.
No.
Like, it's insane.
It's a luxury, man.
It totally is.
And a lot of people don't know how to work their way around a gym. They don't know the machines. They they don't know how to work out. They don't know what to work out.
Well,
they don't know where to start.
Do you see how that happens?
Intimidating.
It's distracting.
Yeah.
Because most of that stuff that's in there, really, you could do without. Let's be
Like
honest.
99% of it.
The
man.
only thing outside of like free weights and a few towers, some cables that I ever think are useful are hammer strength machines. All of them. All the hammer strength machines. The plate loaders.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Those things
Yeah.
are super useful. And then a few cable apparatuses, a dumbbell rack, and a few benches, a few squat racks with adjustable heights and stuff, so you can do like, you know, deadlifts or from your shin. Right. And then
supplemental style work.
yeah, you can do barbell rows, whatever, like just different stuff. Barbell hack squats is a great exercise.
Totally.
You know, like it's all really so basic.
It is.
I mean, all these different.
But it's not basic to people who aren't familiar with that, right?
But what I'm saying is like all these exercises that have come about, all these variations. Really, that stuff's only useful for like bodybuilders and physique competitors.
Yeah.
When it comes,
It's
to,
cosmetic.
right. It's glamour lifting.
It's cosmetic work.
Right.
Yeah, it's cosmetic
So,
gyms.
for instance, I just moved a couple people, right? I moved this married couple a few weekends ago, and from like 11 in the morning until probably 10 o'clock at night, I was moving stuff.
Damn.
And it was heavy and whatever. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, because of the fact that the way that I train, I can just do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's no
you
big
have
deal.
the muscular endurance to just do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's not because you were in there doing like
Super heavy reps.
squats and bench press. It's not. Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally. Yeah.
But the thing of it is like I said, that leg press, man, that is the single best leg machine. Just because you get the same benefit of a squat without all the wear and tear.
And you can manipulate your feet to target certain areas,
Yes.
right? So I'll
Great
go
word.
pigeon toe.
Target.
Yeah.
Wider and higher, hit your hammies.
Yep.
Lower and more in, hit your quads.
Exactly.
Combine the two and you hit everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's efficient as well because they're easier to load. You're not as taxed afterwards. You know squats, dude, those take a lot out of you.
They do.
Right. So it's like do them first. You know what I found a long time ago in my competing days, in order to get a little size, was I would do all my Romanians first, right? Because I like Romanian deadlifts versus stiffs.
Right? Legs first, right?
Totally. And yeah,
Getting
always.
them test, right?
Day one.
I'm saying it's got to be something about it has to do something.
Well, no, this is just like for bodybuilding training, though. You know what I mean? But like my day one,
Gotcha.
when I'm doing that is legs always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I said, the growth hormone thing. That's how I've understood it.
Yeah.
You know, I listen to a lot of stuff like on
Totally
YouTube
a different take, but again, I haven't really researched it, so
Yeah.
that's why I asked you. Like, that's just something I passed along. Say, hey, I don't know the science behind it, but it worked for me. So
Yeah, it'll
do legs
definitely
every
work.
day, right when you work
when
out.
you're trying to put on strength and size.
Yeah.
Always.
Don't have just a leg day. Like, have a leg day, but then do legs
But
every
then
other
do
day.
supplemental stuff.
Do supplemental work.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
front
because
squats, hack squats, whatever it is.
We're all designed to run.
Yep.
Think about it.
Evade.
Rudder legs,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
Like that's pretty much everybody like walking. That's a function of humanity.
Totally. How about flexibility though? This
That's
is
part of it as well.
totally. And the one thing that I notice that, and it drives me crazy, is like a lot of the guys who put on tons of mass. I never see these guys ever stretch. Never, ever, ever. I'm at the gym and I'll see these guys
Right.
walk in. And I'll work out and I'll do like 30 minutes of cardio and like 45 minutes of like actual, like weights and I'll notice the people around me and I see a lot of the guys who are just there to put on size and mass, just muscle, just gains, strain. These guys never stretch. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you're doing yourself an injustice, because if you would just stretch, you'd probably put on a little bit more mass. Like your muscles would
More definition.
Yeah, you'd
Definitely.
be more striated. Is that what you call it?
Striated, yeah.
Again, it boils down to being an athlete and being just a guy who goes to the gym.
Exactly.
Like be an athlete, even if you're going. Like make sure you stretch, because these people are missing out on a huge opportunity.
Right.
Because those muscle fibers are going to be lengthened and they're, again, striated,
Exactly.
and you're going to get more definition and you're going to be able to get deeper on your squats or your deadlifts, and you're not going to be as uncomfortable because your muscle fibers are used to being
Right.
moved around,
Exactly.
And that's one thing I pride myself on, is definitely stretching. You were talking about like yoga earlier.
Yeah, dude.
And
Great
dude,
stuff.
I crush yoga. Like when
Awesome.
I do go,
I just do it on my spare time.
see, and that's something
Yeah.
I wish I had more time to do, but I don't have spare time.
Quick, bro. Quick. Early in the morning when you get up.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, dude.
Well, I roll out in the morning.
Water, right?
Yeah.
And then protein shakes, stretch out a bit. 5, 6, 7 minutes. Doesn't take much.
Right.
Just getting everything, once again, that's relevant.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
All the stuff that's relevant and doing that. And then kind of the gym is like the more irrelevant stuff,
Yeah.
Like kind of just like, God, how many of these reps do I got to do or whatever.
Right.
But just being functional about it. Like, as much as I ride, like my bike and stuff, like, that's, dude, I can go. Like, I just make races in my head. Like, I'm like, this many songs, dude, and just roll.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, the whole thing's competition.
Totally.
Even though there's no one I'm competing against.
So many people, they're not competitive.
That's my favorite
though.
part.
Right, yeah. But there are people out there who they're just not even competitive. And
Yeah, there
those
are.
Again, those are the people who probably pay you. Is that kind of stressful when you get like a client who's like, they're just so demotivated in life that it's
No.
just hard for you? No.
I generally, when I deal with people, the people, again, they seek me out.
Right.
Like I run a lot of social media stuff and whatnot. And they seek me out and they come meet and we talk a little bit and I throw them through some stuff and they're there for the experience of like, wow, I don't have to kill myself
Yeah.
in order to become functional. I don't have to kill. And I explain it to them, like, we're going to start here. You're not functional right now. I can tell by the way you're walking,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just kind of work on all that stuff, so like I have, some older people and some younger people, older and younger than I am. And they all pretty much are there for the same reason, like, and I teach them. So like, if they were ever to be like, in this mode of like, holy crap, like I can go do something totally amazing, right? They can go do it. Something physically that's challenging, or maybe I like to think that there's a lot of mental stuff that was passed down to me that I passed down,
Right.
from all the coaches and trainers that I learned from and all the people that have taught me all this stuff, so I think that's what I'm passing on to these people, and just to be wise and not to become part of the fads that really don't work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because there's so much of that stuff out there now that I just don't understand, like, why it's allowed. You know, because it just seems like that hamster wheel of, like...
And there's a lot of pseudoscience out there.
Exactly.
A lot of pseudoscience. And,
Exactly.
like, jumping back into the supplement world, being somebody like myself who, I sponsor athletes from, like the UFC down.
Nice.
I've got, like, collegiate programs and high school programs, and I have to provide a product that's
Quality.
clean and it's high grade quality, it's pharmaceutical grade. But
Nice.
There's a lot of people out there who they're
rice
very
flour in it.
misinformed. Yeah, and you don't know what you're getting and where you're getting it from.
There's a lot of companies
It's
like that.
not regulated, yeah. And I mean, if anybody wants to just hit up Reddit, just go to Reddit and look up craze and look up like the protein trials and stuff like that. There's tons of stuff out there. It's and there's a lot of misdirection and misleading when it comes to diets, right? Like
Yes.
You've got Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers just said that eggs are 0, so you can eat 1,000 eggs in a day, and Weight Watchers like, you didn't eat shit.
Wow.
And that's because cholesterol has now been like proven via science. 5 years it might change again, but like,
well,
they say that like cholesterol doesn't mean anything anymore. Like salt doesn't affect your heart anymore. Like they're saying all these things that we've been told our entire lives, they're now fake. It's all pseudoscience. It's all bullshit.
Right.
Like the sugar industry and the fats,
Right.
like, and so I always take nutritional advice with a grain of salt because
Always.
in 2 years, that's going to give me cancer. The whole coconut oil, right? The U.S. Heart Association or the whatever it is, they came out and said, "Oh, coconut oil is worse than every other kind of oil." Well, okay. Well, like 2 years ago, you said that's the healthiest fucking oil we could eat. So I don't know what I can and can't do.
Yes, you do. You know how?
Just do it.
You listen to your body and how does it feel?
Yeah.
That's simply it. There's really not another way.
True.
Just eat stuff, and if your body, like, you get those weird feelings, you get bloaty and gassy and that kind of thing, that's your body's way of saying don't eat it.
Don't eat that.
Like, I can't eat Carl's Jr. I like fast food, dude. I do. I have this thing with it. It's like so good.
I love fast food.
Like when I'm running super lean, dude, like you best believe every Friday. It's I'm getting a freaking quarter pounder of cheese, dude.
Oh, so good.
And a thing of fries. I do not care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like right now, I probably shouldn't do that, but
sounds good.
no, just because like I've been like on a heavy beef diet lately, so just eating a lot of steak.
Yeah.
Dude, chicken, man. God, chicken and rice like every day.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 times a day, dude. It gets old.
Well, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
For months.
I do like chicken tender. I try to mix it up. I've got wings,
I
tenders,
do that
everything. I'm like, it's still chicken, right?
Go to freaking Albertsons and go to the deli and get a baked chicken.
Oh, they're so good, dude.
Or like go to get the fried chicken too. Get one of those meals and eat all the Hawaiian rolls first.
Man. That's what I do.
Do you ever do that?
All the time.
Don't eat bread.
Bro, I eat one meal a day and I eat whatever I want.
That's cool.
But
yikes, God, how do you do that?
It's just, I'm used to it, man. I'm used to eating probably like a good 2,800, 3,200 calories at one time or within a couple hours.
I got to eat like 4 or 5 times a day at least.
And, again, it's down to your body.
Exactly.
Down to what your body desires.
Very true.
And I think of it on a very elementary level as like, all right, well, like hunters gatherers, like this is my defense.
Hey,
I'm thinking like, hey, we evolved as hunter gatherers for like, I don't know, whatever they say, hundreds of thousands of years. We've only been eating 3 meals a day for maybe 30, 40, 50 years.
Right.
Like it may be in my DNA to eat food, but like when your body's hungry.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like you're listening to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if I eat breakfast and I'm hungry by like 10 o'clock, that's the same feeling that I have if I haven't eaten 2 or 3 days.
Wow.
My body, hunger pains are hunger pains, right?
Right.
Your body's, you have to condition your body.
True.
I haven't felt hungry all day. I haven't eaten all day.
That's crazy.
I've eaten 3,200 calories in 72 hours.
Jesus.
But then eventually I'll backload, and like my mentality behind
I've eaten
that.
3,200 calories before I got here.
I believe it.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. That's kind of high.
But like, nah, well, not really though. That's like that's actually for somebody who like is in your activity, not at all, man. If you're riding your bike everywhere and stuff,
800. So.
and you weigh 180 pounds, maybe.
Nah, I'm just messing
Like you're
with
saying?
you, dude. I don't know what I weigh.
You probably weigh at least 180, 185.
I weigh more than that.
So if you weigh 190, right?
Maybe.
3,200 calories is not a lot for somebody who literally is as active as you. You're on your feet all day. You ride your bike everywhere.
I actually haven't had that many today. I just actually counted them, and so it's like I'm probably sitting at like 26 hundo so far.
It's 2,600 more than me.
I'm also not counting like protein shakes or anything else. I'm just counting the food
those
that
are
I
like
eat.
a couple hundred maybe.
Yeah. Well, I do big ones, dude.
With water or milk?
Water always.
I use milk
Always water.
just because I want more protein.
Yeah. No.
And it sticks to my ribs a
Water.
little better.
In the morning anyway.
Yeah.
Water. Because then you get your brain hydrated first thing. That's what I was saying. Like when you wake up, drink water. Drink one of these every day.
Well, I used to drink,
And then a protein shake.
typically I'll drink a full glass of water in the morning, if not 2 glasses.
Yeah,
Because I'm
good.
usually just thirsty in the morning anyway.
Good.
So-
That's the best thing to do, dude, because you hydrate your brain, and it actually affects your energy levels for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I've told that to a lot of people.
Makes
and
sense.
They're like, dude, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it totally makes sense.
well, because a lot of people drink coffee,
They do.
right?
Well, and caffeine dehydrates you. So,
Yes,
like, you're
thank
getting
you.
watered down,
Caffeine
but you're
dehydrates
dehydrating
you.
it. Yeah. And it's a vasoconstrictor.
Yes.
And,
thank
like,
you.
that's why I don't
night.
have hardly any in any of the products that I sell.
You know what's funny?
Because caffeine's not good for you.
Is as much of it being a vasoconstrictor, dude, like all the pre-workouts have it.
Like
And
tons,
There's
dude.
certain ones, dude, that just hit me and like my veins pop. Like when I take
Yeah,
them.
it's because they're giving you like 4, 5, 6 times
That's
the amount
crazy.
of like vasodilation you need because they have to counterbalance the 300 milligrams of caffeine. Yeah,
Exactly.
totally.
That's awesome.
It fucks your whole system up, and then
I'm
you
glad
crash.
I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah, well, then you crash, right? And then you don't feel good because you just took a ton of caffeine. That's how I feel. My product is totally different. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you later. I don't really feel like marketing it. I've marketed it and talked about it a lot on my show.
Cool.
But like,
hey, do your thing. It's all good.
but I mean, I've talked to people. I have a company from Canada, one of the biggest. I'm not going to put them on here right now because I'm working with the owner of it. But they sell. I can tell you that they sell the #1 test boost in like all of Canada. They are one of the biggest, if not the biggest, nutraceutical companies in Canada.
Nice.
And they match my mission statement and the things that I'm striving for. And they contacted me to partner with me on my business because they want to absorb my brand. And that to me shows, and I put $0 into marketing. I've literally done absolutely nothing
Nice.
on this for like almost a year. And it shows to me that my product at least has some type of it's got some type of a purpose, but
Right.
I also only sell it at one retailer. I bulk sell it to like, athletic programs. Like I was saying
Right.
earlier, I've got colleges and,
That's where
and
it's
high
at.
schools and stuff. Yeah, and I have the opportunity to give back to these schools because I do it in a certain way where we donate a percentage of the sales that they buy from us. We just
Yeah.
give it back to the school.
That's cool.
And in the way that we've worked out these deals, it's it's a proprietary contract, and it works very well for everybody involved. I'm not money hungry,
Right.
but I've been in college and I've tried to use like products
Right.
and like nowadays, when you're in the NCAA or you've got people like in the UFC, they're getting tested pretty stringently when they're tested. And you just don't want them to pop because they're putting their faith in you and the
Yeah.
quality of your product. You don't want to have something that's
That whole
gonna-
thing's so crazy.
It's so crazy.
I
dude.
spent like 2 hours explaining like the whole steroid thing in pro sports to my dad on the phone the other day.
Everybody's on steroids.
Thank you.
Everybody's
All the
on
freaking
steroids.
pro athletes, man. All of
Everybody
them.
who competes at a professional level
Yes.
is professionally
Enhanced.
juicing.
Period.
They are.
I
Man.
totally
They all
believe
have
that.
doctors. No, it's known. I mean, if Lance Armstrong was doing it,
But they all were.
everybody was doing it.
Right.
Everybody was doing it. If John Jones is doing it,
Yeah.
everybody's
How do
doing
you
it.
feel about that picogram thing?
I don't even know what that is. What is
So a picogram is like you take a grain of salt and split it up like
Okay.
as much as you can, and that's a picogram. So he was supposed to fight in Nevada a few months back, whatever, or maybe it was even last year at this point. But they supposedly found a picogram of a metabolite of an anabolic in his system 2 years later. And so they moved the whole fight from Vegas to the Staples Center in L.A. because Nevada revoked his license to fight, and he didn't need to have it in California.
Yeah, because
with a week to go.
Whoa.
And then so I watched.
That's stupid.
I watched a thing with a guy who was their spokesman, and I really didn't believe him at all. Like, I don't understand scientifically how they could a picogram. If he failed the drug test,
I don't even know what that means, dude.
It's
like
such a tiny amount
per milliliter of fluid, because a lot of times they'll do it per milliliter of fluid or something like that.
It's like I said, the size of the thing is like so small on a conversion table that it's just disgusting.
Picogram.
Yeah. But that was the official explanation for that thing, dude, and I just didn't buy it.
Whoa. 1 to the E -09. So you're talking like 0.000000009, right? Like you're
Something
talking
like that,
yeah, per milliliter is my guess. If that was 1 picogram to his per mass would be per milliliter in that case, because it's for his blood. Well, fuck the UFC and WADA, because they're fucking crazy, dude. They're fucking crazy,
that
man.
whole thing was crazy.
It's all fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
Go back to Pride. Those dudes didn't give a fuck, man.
Right.
You could be roided out, and those dudes were jacked, and they put on a show.
Right.
Let those dudes kill themselves. Let them.
Totally.
They're professionals. They know what they're doing.
Well, you know,
they hire people who know what
the
they're
thing
doing.
that's funny is like all these dudes get paid like these millions of dollars,
Tons
these
of money.
huge contracts.
Yeah.
Like the NFL dudes, right? That shit's fucking insane.
Dude, have you not seen NFL players are so fucking
Jacked.
juiced, bro?
Jesus Christ.
To the gills,
Those
man.
dudes are jacked.
They're so jacked.
Oh my god.
You can't tell me that those guys are just eating chicken and rice. You know, there's
I
no
can't.
fucking way, man.
You're right. There's no way.
Because when I was in college, I was shooting dudes up with steroids all the time.
Right.
That was college.
Yeah, it goes on there too.
It does, man. It does. And the only reason why they're gonna test you is if you look like you should be tested.
Right.
And you just have to look like the mold, which is fucking juiced out. Like nobody cares.
Exactly.
How often you hear about more people who get fined and banned for smoking weed than juicing up?
Right.
It's a fucking fact,
Seriously.
man. All over the news. Oh, so and so, he's on suspension for breaking, for having drugs in his system. And it's like, all right, well, homeboy probably just shot up a bunch of tests,
right?
And nobody fucking cares that he's out there headhunting
Totally.
with the helmet on,
right?
About to fucking ruin somebody's day. Let the dude get a little baked so he doesn't kill somebody.
I know.
Yeah, let him enjoy it a little bit.
It's definitely backwards.
It is backwards.
It totally is.
But the reason why, I think the reason why THC is considered a banned substance is because it has been scientifically proven to enhance your cardiovascular endurance.
Because of its expectorant capabilities, or what?
Maybe even just makes you think that you're able to run higher, or longer and faster. I don't know, but I think it was so minimal. I want to say it was 13%. The person before they got baked. And who knows what they smoked, right? But it's I think it was before they got baked, they did something. They did the same amount in 113%. It was 113% increase in their endurance level or whatever that. Wow. Or maybe 103. It was so small. It's dude, honestly, let a guy get stoned before he goes out and boxes and gets punched in the face.
Shit.
Yeah, let the guy get a little baked, man.
Who cares?
Yeah, who fucking cares? It's
Seriously.
his life. He signed it on the bottom line.
Dude, they pay those people so much money.
And they're doing so many worse shit, on the side.
So much.
So much worse shit.
Dude.
They probably did a bunch of fucking coke 2 days beforehand because it's out of their system. But you can't let them smoke some weed or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Dude, pro boxers,
Yeah.
Mayweather, how much did he make in that McGregor fight, dude?
Oh, I think 300 million,
this is
probably
the most
more.
ridiculous shit I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, it's insane.
What do you need that for?
Nothing.
Seriously, that's what I'm saying, dude. Saturation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everywhere.
But that's very far and few between.
You know what I thought of the other day?
What's that?
So I was out riding, dude, right? And I was riding past a bunch of car lots and shit. And I was like, you realize they make a new model of all these cars every year.
Every year.
Every year.
I think about this all the time.
So just food for thought, I kind of came up with this joke. It's kind of a joke. But is the population problem cars? Because if there's new models of all these cars every year.
Lots are full all the time.
Right. I mean, think about how many freaking cars there are.
So many cars.
What?
They sit in lots,
Yeah,
too.
dude.
They sit in lots. Like, if there's a recall or something,
Yeah.
they just send them to a lot, and they just literally
Sit
sit
there.
on, like hectares
Right.
of land, and
So-
they just sit out there.
How many cars are there in the world?
There's so
That's
many
all I want to know.
I've
man.
thought about that, too, dude.
Seriously.
I've thought about that.
Good night.
Because I haven't bought a car in years.
You know what I mean?
And I don't even buy new cars. Who the
Yeah.
fuck buys all those new cars?
Why?
Well, I was looking at, so like BMW released something and they were like, why is BMW's new 7 Series grill so big? And I looked at it and they're like, 8,700 and whatever, 31 or some shit like that. They're like, basically 9,000 people bought that car last year. And I'm like, every time I go to a fucking BMW lot, it is so packed. It doesn't look like anyone buys a car. Like, but everybody drives a BMW, and I don't ever see the brand new BMWs. I see all like the
Exactly.
2, 3, 4-year-old
Yeah.
cars on the road, only because I drive BMW. But like, you do notice those things, and I've wondered the same thing. Like, where the fuck do all those
Where
cars
do they
go?
all go?
And where do all the new cars go that never get sold? There was one advertisement, because I started looking at new cars. There was an advertisement that came across for like Alfa Romeo or something, and it was like a brand new 2017. This was only like 2 months ago. It was like a
Yeah.
brand new 2017 Alfa Romeo Giuliana or Giulia or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
for, you know, a certain price
Something
point.
super nice.
Super nice. It's brand new, but it's like 2 years old. And like, going through the comments, everybody's like, how is that new if it's a 2017? But I guess there is like a market for cars that are 2, 3, 4 years old that never got sold.
Right?
I've
There would
never
have
looked
to
into
be.
it. I've never looked into it.
Dude, we should look into that.
I need to go buy like a 2-year-old brand new car, that because you're going to save thousands.
Right.
You're going to save so much money, and you still get the warranty.
That's totally got to be a thing.
That's fuck. I didn't even think about that. But I bet a lot of them get shipped overseas to like Africa
Or
and
Eastern Europe
Middle
or
East,
what?
like the Middle East, or probably not Europe, because it's pretty saturated over there.
Yeah.
As far as like, it's just like the car market's probably pretty small, especially in like certain Asian countries where a lot of them ride bikes and motorcycles and stuff. But I bet a lot of the overstock probably gets shipped over to like India or probably Eastern Europe, now that I think about it. Yeah, totally. And they probably capitalize on it. But I mean, they're still selling it at like a lower price point. But
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
people get paid so much money to figure out the logistics behind.
Yeah, that's
you know,
insane.
it's fucking crazy. Because I've thought about buying a brand new car, and I'm like, I've never bought a new car. I don't
Right.
buy anything new, dude. Nothing's new. I've never bought anything new,
Right.
ever. I like all these TVs. They're all refurbs from Amazon warehouse.
Perfect.
You know, like, but everything works. Everything. I mean, like, all this gear is new, but like the
works.
majority of like my expensive shit, camera gear, everything like that, it's all refurbished through the manufacturer. You know, like at a very highly discounted price.
Right.
And so I'm going to assume it's possible that a lot of those cars that go unsold probably either get scrapped if they're not sold within a certain amount of time.
You think?
Yeah, they probably get reused, because I bet those engines are probably reused for a couple of years. They probably just send them back to the manufacturer and probably scrap the body, and then they probably just throw a new body on the actual chassis. That's my guess. I don't know. They have to figure it out, because that's lost money, right?
Yeah, that has to be.
Somebody has to figure out how many are we going to sell. So
Yeah.
we need to fucking build
Seriously.
just enough.
Doesn't that sound like the worst business model ever?
Yeah, Six Sigma, man.
Like, good night.
Yeah, so that's, you know, there's, yeah, it's a statistical thing. Are you familiar with Six Sigma?
No.
It's basically it's supply chain, and
Oh.
like it's being able to produce a quality at like 99.9%, which is unrealistic.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because you could have 1 million units and one thing fail.
Right.
And so like the goal is to like basically have 1 per million units or whatever, like be functional and like hit your warranty. So it's like, those are the people who have to make sure that the quality's there, and then you also
Right.
have to make sure that the numbers are there. So then you also have the analysts on the other side that say, all right, well, we've been growing at this rate, this is how many we've been making, because you obviously don't want to underproduce, and you definitely don't want to overproduce. So you want to be as close to that mark as possible without losing any type of money for the business.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. It's
super insane sounding.
quantitative methods, and it's very interesting. That's why I don't get into supply chain, man. I don't give a fuck how many you make. I care how much you sell. That's like what I
Right.
like to. I want to know how much you sell. there's somebody else who like cares about how much you make, and that's on the business end,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, that's the thing
so
with
true,
business, though, man. Like, it's actually kind of complicated.
It's extremely complicated.
Like, just because there's so much
complicated.
different... It's like everything anymore is just so super complicated.
It is and it isn't,
Good
right?
night.
It depends on what you're getting into,
Well-
because let's be real, people come here and they don't speak English, and they start restaurants, and they start like clothing businesses, or they do things like that they're able to do, and they fulfill a need, and it might not be difficult in that specific line of business, but running a business in itself, and having an understanding of
It's
who buys your shit,
super
how much you need to
complicated.
make, all that kind of stuff. Oh,
Yep.
dude, it's like, that's why businesses pay lots and lots of money
It's tireless.
for people, and to broker out services, because
Yeah.
you know, everybody else can do it better, you know. And the main goal of a business is you either get bought out by your competition, or you go public, right? And then you
Right.
buy everybody else up.
And you buy everybody
so
else.
you get
yeah.
gobbled up, or you gobble everybody else up, and or you just fade and you close out.
That's so crazy.
And that's what's exciting about business, is like, you know, it's the trials, the tribulations, and the excitement of whether or not you are going to hit that next level, or you're going to, you know, you're going to go under, you're going to drown.
It's like, back in the day, it used to be all about, like, helping people out, like, helping one another.
That's
But, like,
relationship business.
That model has so changed.
It's completely
It's
changed.
dead.
It all used to be about relationship sales, and
Yes.
like, I do something for you, you do something for me, but over the
Right.
years, laws have changed.
Right.
You know, you have to follow certain procedures now, to where it's
That are
you-
expensive.
Yeah, well, and it's like, you can't necessarily do a favor for a favor. You
Right,
know?
exactly.
You know, it's not like, hey, I can provide you this many units for this amount, and you can provide me with that. Give me a little bit of some slack on this, this, and this.
Right.
It's like certain things on the contract might restrict, you know, certain types of
Yeah.
favors, and that
See?
and
Saturated.
It creates. It does. It does, and it creates a certain type of competition, but it does make it a little more difficult for the people and the businesses who are smaller to gain growth, because a lot of these laws are now in favor of the big companies, because they're the lobbyists. You know, they have the money, they have the resources, they have
Right.
the product. You know, they're able to fulfill an order without any issues. You know, they've got track records, where like smaller companies, they
Right.
don't. They're trying to establish themselves, but
There's mistakes made along the way.
yeah, I mean, look at the brewing market, right? Like beer.
Oh, that's huge.
It's so big, and the problem is now is that a lot of these smaller, and I put that in quotation marks, but like a lot of these companies, they're just getting bought up. You're not going to see a microbrewer like
Yeah.
grow up and buy out Budweiser. Sorry, it's not going to
Never.
happen. Nah, not going to
Budweiser
happen.
will buy them.
And if they can't, then they'll do whatever they can to lobby the laws wherever you're doing your
Right.
sales and you're hurting them, and they will change whatever they can
I know,
to do
isn't
it.
that crazy?
It's fucked, but it's capitalism.
Dude, exactly.
So you should.
That's crazy.
It's fucking crazy,
Dude, that literally is what it is.
It is.
That's
why we're so
crazy.
successful, right? That's why America is.
I don't know, is it?
We're so innovative, man. It's
Are we?
innovation. Competition is innovation, man.
I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, to me, like, I see, like, actually, you know,
Look at North Korea.
well,
Look
see,
at Cuba.
I don't watch TV or read newspapers or.
But look at
anything.
look at the countries where where you cannot compete.
Yeah,
There's no innovation.
I have no idea what they're doing.
Cuba's living in the 40s, dog.
Totally.
Look at the
That
cars
I do
they're-
know.
Yeah, dude,
That is a
totally,
thing.
totally. They just got 3G
Their cars are like
in
just-
Cuba.
yeah,
They
wow.
just got 3G. The reason why is because the government controls everything. The government says this is what you can and cannot
I know,
have.
that's crazy.
Capitalism provides
Well,
you.
they're communist, right? So
What, social? Yeah, they're communists.
yeah,
It's
they were
yeah, it's
like with the
communism.
Russians and the Chinese back in the day.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
they were all about Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Bay of Pigs, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
And but I mean, you look at those countries, even look at Russia. Like, although Russia is very innovative and China is very innovative, it's because they steal a lot of our shit.
Okay.
They steal all of our patents. Look at it, dude. China is just
Well, and
they
then a
steal
lot of
all
companies
our
move there
innovation.
too.
They do, because they have cheap labor. But the problem is, we move our labor over there, and they steal our patents, and they recreate it on their own terms,
Right.
and then they sell it back to us on the black market.
Isn't that crazy?
Look at eBay, man. Look at eBay. Dude, I mean, like, you can watch the show Shark Tank.
Totally.
And, like, there's this chick that was on there from an episode, and she created these, like, reusable diapers.
Oh, man.
And she was like, I need, like, $20 million. And they were like, why the fuck do you need $20 million for diapers? She was like, well, because I took this over to China, and the manufacturer ripped off my patent, and they're selling my diapers to the United States under their own brand and their own name, and it's my diaper. And they're like, so you need money to fight China? And she was like, yeah, I need to sue these guys, and I need to get my product, I need to get it manufactured. And they were like, you're screwed. You're screwed.
So done.
This is China. Like, they don't give a flying fuck what you make.
No, they don't.
They don't care about patent laws. They don't, dude. I've written papers on it. I've done research. In my grad school, I did I did like an international course that talked about, patent laws and starting businesses in different countries and restrictions.
Is
and all
it
that kind of
crazy?
stuff. Every country's really weird, man. Like, some of them require that you like buy property in there so that you actually are required to live there. And then if you make so much money, you can't convert so much money out, and you're stuck there. Like, there's a lot of different laws in different countries that restrict business. America is, in my opinion, the greatest fucking country in the world because we have the opportunity to create any business, regardless of the language you speak, where you come from. You can start a business and you can grow that business. It is, if you want to talk immigration stories, talk business, man. Some of the greatest businesses in the entire United States, some of the top businesses are from people who came here and they started a business and they fulfilled a need again.
Right.
And they capitalized on it. Yeah, they capitalized on it because they were good at it. Not because somebody else couldn't do it better.
Right.
Just because they were good at what they did. And
that has happened a lot. You're right.
If you were to do that in, I don't know, South Africa, they'd shut your ass down. You go to China and you make money, they'll shut your ass down, dude.
That's insanity.
It's fucking crazy, man.
That's so crazy.
You do business with those countries. Here in America, you do business with the public.
Right.
You do anywhere else, man. Anywhere else you go. Canada is the closest to international business law that we have.
Right.
Where I could go up to Canada and it would be less restrictive. It would be just as restrictive, a little bit more because I'm not a citizen. But let's say I'm a citizen of Canada. I go up to Canada and start a business just as easily as the United States.
Right.
All you have to do is get on to the state secretary's website and you spend $100 and you get an LLC license and it's free for the rest of your life. And all you have to do is just renew it every year. Just get online and say, "Yep, I'm still a business." Click, enter, boom, you're done.
That's true.
Most places around the globe, you can't do that, man.
We did that with the band.
Yeah, you have to.
We're literally a business.
You should be. You have to be. Protect your assets, right?
Totally.
Just in case you guys are on the road and something happens, you don't want your gear taken away, your van and everything like that.
Totally.
Like, everything that's tied to the business, they can fuck you, but don't put anything in your business name.
Right.
So I don't know. Innovation. That's, and I don't even know where we were going with this. Basically, just business.
Innovation.
But
you said it.
But to innovation and
innovating stuff is there's so much to it.
You see a flaw, you make it better.
Yeah, totally.
And if your competition isn't as good as you, fuck your competition because they're not smart enough to either hire you, buy you out, or see that they have a flaw.
Isn't that the goal?
It is.
Just pay me all this money, just sign this thing, and I'll come.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And guarantee this much of it.
And it's very seldom, if ever, the government will ever step in and in the United States. You never hear. I mean, think about you got Microsoft, Apple, these guys, and Google. They run the world.
Yeah, basically.
And they're
crazy,
U.S. based. Yeah, but I mean, the government doesn't really step in and do stuff to the big companies, probably because they're paying big taxes and they're lobbyists, whatever. But,
who knows?
But they really in my opinion, I think the United States is probably your best bet if you want to start a business.
Yeah. No, that's a great argument. I just, honestly, I really don't know, what other countries do. You know what I mean? Personally. So to me, it's just kind of that's, really compelling because it's, very true.
It is true.
Yeah.
We, we're the innovators of the world. If you look at some of the greatest inventions of all time, they came from capitalist countries. They came from places
Yeah,
that
very much so.
allowed innovation and competition.
Very much.
You know,
that's just crazy though. That like to think that like to live in something like that, where you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
Well,
like in a
freedom.
place like China or like Russia or just any one of these places where like it's just that way. Like we don't like this.
Yeah,
Put the
and
kibosh on it.
and it's not saying that you can't start businesses there. I haven't looked into it, but
Yeah.
if you look at the influence that the government has, they are literally hands-on with everything.
Right. That's exactly.
You know,
that's
and
so crazy.
And the appropriation for you know, having some type of creativity or innovation is going to be stagnated if the government doesn't want you to do that. Where here in America, you file a patent and you become your own personal monopoly. And I think everybody should be rewarded if they're able to do something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, whereas like for the most part, a lot of places in the world, they're not going to allow you to do that. You don't have a monopoly. The government will take control of your patent.
Yeah,
They'll
totally.
take control of everything, and you manufacture it for the country, and then
so
you get a piece of it. You know, so you work for the country, but like it's your own idea. And that's stupid.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's fucking retarded.
They just like take it from you.
They do, but
Is that like some medieval shit or what?
yeah.
Like-
Well, it's very primitive.
Like the
when
king
it comes
of the stead's just like, dude, I'm taking that. Can you imagine
do.
all the
They
stuff
do.
that probably got invented back in the day, like in various countries, and the king was just like, I'm taking that.
I'm taking
that
your
is
ideas.
mine. That is
Yeah.
the coolest thing I've seen. Like, what kind of stuff do you think people were making up?
Crazy
Like-
shit.
Well, like for instance, like in our world now.
But did they have any incentive to create new things though?
I don't
That's
know.
the thing. Like if you're a suppressed nation and you've been at that point your entire life conditioned to knowing that like the government's going to supply you with everything,
Right.
and that everything's provided for you, like why do you want to make anything better? Because that's all you know. Right. But like here in America, when I look at something, I'm like, oh, there's always a better option out there.
Right.
And if there's not,
Exactly.
somebody will find it. Like find a niche, they'll find out what I want to
Well,
buy.
how do you think everything got made in the first place?
It's because there was a demand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a demand.
Somebody figured something out.
Exactly.
Like nowadays, it's all about the electronics.
totally.
All about.
Yep.
Back in the day, like, hey, whoever made the trebuchet, man, that dude's probably died a rich man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pet rock,
Like,
right? That's
seriously.
America. Like
Yeah.
you can create even stupid shit.
The chia pet.
The chia pet. Dude, you can create stupid shit and be
hilarious.
successful, right?
Yeah, you really can.
You can. And you can monopolize it.
Yeah, totally.
Which is, in my opinion, you should be paid for your thoughts and your ideas. Like, I don't think anybody else should be rewarded based on what you are able to, like, conceive and achieve.
Well, totally.
And,
Yeah, why should somebody else?
they shouldn't.
Right.
That's why we live in America.
Right?
Fuck everybody else that can't be smarter than me. Or smarter than you. Or smarter than anybody else.
Totally.
And fuck everybody else who's not as smart as somebody on, like, listening to the podcast, you know, who,
Well, I mean,
who
there's
can't think of, like, a
different
better
levels of
idea.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're all good at different stuff. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's, I mean, you know, there are people in the world who just really,
It's because we're not told we should be something our entire lives. Like,
Right.
like my old piano teacher, she was from Poland before
Nice.
the Berlin Wall dropped, right?
yeah.
And she was
remember
taken
that.
out of her home when she was like 5 years old, and she went to a music school, and she was taught to play music. She was forced to play music her entire life.
Wow.
And all she knew was to play music. Like, I don't think ever in her life she was sitting at a piano, something that she sat at probably 10 hours a day. And I don't think she ever looked at the piano and said, I could make this better, or I could do something a little bit better with this.
Right.
You know, like, but every time I
she
sit
could play
down,
it.
but she could play it, you know, but that's what she's been told that she needs to do. Where here, we're told you need to compete, you need to be better, you need to be
Right.
better than the next person. Where
Right.
there, it's you need to conform, you need to be a part of the system, you need to be a piano player.
There's a lot of that here, though, too, like conformity and stuff. If you think
Sure.
about, like, our institutions and things, like our educational system, like all that stuff, like my mom taught.
True.
She retired a teacher.
Well,
You know what I
we
mean?
could talk education
Like,
for sure.
That's stuff that just is like, there's a lot of, and, you know, it's always, again, 20 people, 20 different statements, but for me, like, watching stuff, I never...
You don't go through public school. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're
but,
fine.
but people don't go through public school being told you're going to be an English teacher your whole life. Like, people
Well,
aren't
right.
told you're going to be an English teacher. You're going to be
Right.
an English teacher. Like, we're told you these are the things that you're good at. These are the options that you
Right.
should pursue. but
That's
you
what
can
I'm
do
saying.
what you want. You know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, there's a lot of indoctrination though, because if you think about it, it's like a beehive.
Totally.
You know, there's worker bees. You know, that's the stuff. Like anymore, like there's not a lot of people with mechanical ability anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I told you, in the summertime, I go do side stuff all the time. You know, like I actually enjoy being outdoors and building things and like doing fun stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like I framed out a bus a few weekends back. And like
dope.
built some stuff in there, made some like cabinets and some beds and stuff, all by hand.
Yeah.
And just like to me, that was awesome. You know, things like that are missing anymore. Like seriously, like ask some youngsters, like, hey, where's the pilot light at? You know?
Yeah, and they'd be like, "What's a pilot light?"
Totally. Like,
But
things
for
like
somebody
that.
like, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm not even that old, but I'm a homeowner, and I'd be like, well,
Yeah, you should know
well,
that.
I mean, are we talking? Do I have a gas range? Do I have a gas
Thank you.
water heater?
My
Like,
water
what
heater, my
pilot
range,
are you
what's
talking
up?
about?
Exactly.
Yeah, are we talking about the pilot on the
Boom.
on
the
the
barbecue
gas
grill?
or yeah, or the
fireplace?
The fireplace. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
See
totally.
what I'm saying?
Man.
Just
yeah.
little stuff like that, man. I don't know. To me, that's just like missing.
Well, we also live in an age where most people rent; they can't afford to buy.
I know.
And they don't have to think about. They don't have to think about that. Like when I tell people, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. They're like, hey man, what are you doing on Friday? I'm like, I gotta go home and mow my lawn,
Right?
and I gotta go like change out a sprinkler head, and
Yeah, like
I gotta pick up dog shit. Adulting. I have like a
Seriously.
home, and or if somebody's like, hey man, like, sorry you can't make it out this week. I'm like, yeah, it's okay, dude. It only cost me like $1,200 to replace my heater today.
Right.
You know, and I'm here all day waiting for this dude to show up with a new heater, and he's gonna be here till 10 o'clock installing it. You know,
Seriously.
like yeah,
Like
yeah,
real life
totally.
shit.
Real life stuff.
Totally.
But a lot of these kids, and I shouldn't call them kids because they're older.
I say
but they're
youngsters.
the millennials, the young millennials. I'm
Yeah.
an old millennial. I'm
Right.
part of like a hybrid. I'm an 85 kid.
I'm Generation
so,
X, man.
Yeah, you're like a young Generation X, right?
Yeah, I'm like the next to last year of it.
Yeah.
But it depends who you ask, too.
It depends on
But I grew up with MTV, so
Me
that
too.
literally makes
Gangster
me
raps,
that.
cartoon violence.
Dude, yo, MTV raps, dude, the Real World.
Real World, Road Rules.
Beavis and Butthead, The State.
Yup,
Remember The
Simpsons.
State?
Didn't watch The State.
Oh, it was a sketch comedy show on MTV. And like,
In Living Color.
yeah. I remember that,
The
dude.
Adventures of Pete and Pete. Did you ever watch
Oh,
that?
yeah, Clarissa Explains It All.
Yeah.
That was all on Nickelodeon.
Clarissa Explains It All.
Ren and Stimpy.
The
like
Secret World of
Rugrats.
Alex Mack.
I never seen that one.
Yeah.
That's a newer one, I think.
No, that was an older one. But
I don't remember that one at all.
Secret World of Alex Mack. She was the girl who like
Was that on like Disney?
knows Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon?
And she was like,
Never watched
she
it.
was exposed to a bunch of like radioactivity stuff, and so she could like turn into a blob and like go under like doors and shit. It was
That's
really weird.
crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, the same generation, right?
Yeah, I
like,
get it.
So, and I'm like the young. I'm like the hybrid. They said that like Gen X and like millennials should be grouped into a hybrid between like I think it was like 82 and 86 or something, because that was when people like at that age group, when they hit high school, they started actually getting internet and cell phones.
Right.
Because when I was growing up, it was like dial up, you know.
Dude, it
internet.
was like Zach Morris cell phones, man.
Yeah, for you, mine was like the bricks.
I remember dial-up. Dude, dial-up was horrible.
Yeah,
Dude, I
bad.
remember caller ID. And then you,
Oh.
like, if you ditched school, like, I was in high school, right?
Yeah.
So it was just like, God, you had to, like, run home, and then we had tapes in the answering machines back then.
Oh yeah.
And, like, so you'd erase the message from school, erase the caller ID, and then 3 days later, get home before your mom and dad to get the letter in the mail so they wouldn't know you ditched.
Oh my
But they'd
gosh.
still find out at parent-teacher conference.
That's so funny.
It was all for naught.
Dude,
you know.
that's crazy, man. No, it's so true though, because I remember, yeah, growing up, man, like
Totally.
you would have to erase a tape if like your girlfriend called.
Yeah.
Or like you'd get the phone call at home and you'd be like, "Mom, I can hear you breathing on the other line."
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah, I can hear you breathing. Who's on the phone?
Seriously.
Yeah. They were like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, dude, I know you're fucking listening.
You can just
hit the
imagine him
mute
like,
button.
Phyllis, listen to my boopy. Listen to him, you know, like saying something funny like
Trying
that.
to get me in trouble or something.
Totally.
Like that. Yeah.
Like, it's like,
That's old school, man.
that's how I
Yeah.
imagine stuff. I don't know.
Well, I mean that's how we grew up though.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I didn't have my first cell phone
Like
until I was
Alf.
in high school.
Remember Alf?
I
And
watched a
Webster.
little bit of Alf. The father on that show just died like 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh, no, that sucks.
Yeah, he was young.
I don't even remember who he was, but I remember that show.
Guy with the glasses.
That one and what was the other one? Webster.
I didn't watch that. I watched Family Pains.
I remember, yeah, Growing Pains.
Growing Pains.
Yeah,
that was a great show.
That was a good show.
That was
I actually
good.
watched that.
It
It was
Joey,
the TGIF. It was step by step, Growing Pains.
Set myself.
Or no, not Growing Pains. Growing Pains was the Kirk Cameron one, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Family Matters. So and then Dinosaurs, the TGIF.
I did watch
Do you remember that?
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Not the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, those shows were insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Some of the best shows.
And
man.
then freaking remember Total Recall?
With Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah,
the
with
movie?
the girl with the 3 boobs, dude. Like,
Yes.
That was like the coolest thing.
On Mars?
I was like 9. And I was like watching this with my parents going like, that's awesome.
That was when he went in to talk to the wasn't it the lady with the third eye or whatever, and she had 3 tits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
What
I
do they
don't
call
rem-
those?
God,
They're
I don't
like a palm
remember.
reader or some shit. I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie
God,
in
that
years.
movie, yeah. Have you seen the newer one?
No.
With the Seventh Heaven?
No.
I have names for like actors and actresses, just what I remember them from.
Seventh Heaven.
So Seventh Heaven's in it, dude. She's hot.
She's way
and
hot.
then freaking Fright Night's in it with her.
Oh, what is her name? Wasn't
Yeah.
she dating like Justin Timberlake for a while?
I think they got
Seventh Heaven
married.
chick. Maybe they did.
Yeah,
She's super hot though.
that sounds right.
I would smash.
Dude, for Blade Trinity, she literally got down to 12% body fat.
Who's that?
The chick from Seventh Heaven. She was in Blade Trinity. Jessica Biel.
Oh, Jessica Biel.
There
Yep.
we go.
Yeah.
She was in Seventh Heaven in Blade Trinity with Van Wilder and Wesley Snipes, dude.
Didn't even watch it.
Oh, dude, and Triple H is
Never
in
even
it.
heard
like
of
the
that.
greatest pro wrestler ever.
Yeah.
I'm a huge pro wrestling geek.
Are you? Oh, dude, I'm
Huge.
about to do a pro wrestling show.
Oh, I'm in.
Dude, you want to come on to do it?
I totally can tell
Dude,
you everything.
I had a buddy come over. I had a buddy hit me up online. Dude, if you're for real, he was
I
like,
really am for real.
because he hit me up like a month ago and was like, hey, man, you should do a show on pro wrestling. And I was like, I don't know anything on pro
I do.
wrestling, man. And he was like, oh, well, I know a little bit. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Let me know. And so I hit him up. I'm trying to get him on tomorrow.
That's crazy.
So chances are pretty good we might end up doing it next week, considering it's already like Monday night.
Just holler at me, dude. I can talk to you about wrestling for all day.
And that's what he was saying, that there's so much cool stuff, and wrestling's totally evolved. I was a WCW fan. I liked the colors. I liked the excitement.
Back in the day, they were cool.
They were.
The Nature Boy, dude. Ric
Oh,
Flair.
Ric Flair.
Woo!
I liked the Blood Brothers.
What about Harlem Heat?
I was down with
Remember
Harlem
them?
Heat. They were hardcore.
Do you
They're
remember the Warlords?
Yeah,
Ah.
dude, this is so great.
Seriously.
We could totally geek, man.
Oh, totally.
Let's get you on for the wrestling show, man.
I'd love to
Let's
talk about
get you on
wrestling.
the wrestling show.
Dude, I can talk about that shit all day, man. Do you remember the first Starcade? The Skywalkers, dude? It was like the Four Horsemen and
I remember the Four Horsemen.
but like the original Four Horsemen. I forget who it was like. I remember when your
But
Legion
that
of
was
Doom.
WWE, though.
No, that was WCW back in the 80s when
Legion-
it was still NWA.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. Okay.
I'm talking old shit. Ric
Yeah,
Flair
that's
was
old.
always the champion.
See, I
until Sting
watched
finally
it from
beat him.
like 95 to like 99.
Well, that was
so
like the
mine was like-
NWO and
It was NWO
Oh, yeah.
years.
I know that
and
whole dude. I know all that.
the Hogan.
Oh
and-
my god, dude, Hulk Hogan.
yeah,
That was the coolest thing ever.
Diesel and all those
That was
guys.
at the Bash at the Beach when he turned on Macho Man, dude. And it turned out he was the 3rd member that year.
Yeah,
It was just
and
like-
then they split on the NWO.
Oh, God,
it went
the
from
Wolfpack.
white to red to the Wolfpack or whatever.
And then the Hogan, and then the Hollywood, and then,
Hollywood Hogan. Yeah, I didn't like Hollywood Hogan.
NWO Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then like
Oh, dude, you need to come on for the show. We don't have to geek right now. We don't have to talk about it.
I can.
Let's
though.
get you. I know I can't
I love
because
wrestling.
I'm not really that deep into it.
I am
But we need to get you on the show
totally.
because I think we'd have a blast.
I can literally sit there and talk about that shit for days.
Dude, I'm so down.
Brutus Beefcake, like they're all dead now, bro. Rick Rude's dead.
They're all dead. They're all roided. They were all roided out.
All those
dude.
dudes.
Dude,
They still are.
just look at just do athletes 80s and you're gonna see and go to photos on Google
Oh,
and
I
they're
know.
all juiced, man, from
They're
the junior
jacked.
high to fucking pro level
They're
for every
jacked.
fucking level.
Every single one of them.
Look at I mean, my football coach in college, he played for University of Washington. Have you seen and that's when they were like national champs in the early 90s.
Back when who was it? Bledsoe was there. Who was the quarterback?
I don't know if he played for Bledsoe. I
Wasn't-
don't know if
isn't that
Bledsoe
where he
played
went?
there. Probably, I don't know. But
Or was
have
he
you-
Washington State?
the movie
remember.
was the program is basically based on
I remember that.
University of
Yeah,
Washington.
yeah. With
And
James Caan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that movie's badass.
He went fucking crazy in that movie.
Remember
That's
that
a great
big dude?
movie.
Yeah, with the hair.
Big fucking the defensive end.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy was fucking huge.
Good grief.
Well, and it's based on that program.
Yeah, I
And
remember this now,
My
yeah.
coach actually told us some stories like when he was playing there. He was like, the first game I opened up was at Notre Dame. I pissed my pants, and he was like, I blew my knee out and they took me to the sideline and put a towel over me, and then
That's
they
crazy.
just gave me a shot in my knee and put me right back on the field.
Jesus.
Like
yeah.
they put a towel over him and
Hit
just
him with
put
a
a shot.
cortisone, dude, and just throw him
Literally,
back
that's
out
what
there.
they did.
Yep.
And he was like, yeah, like that's just how they did football back then. You would,
Yep.
and I've got more stories. I've got like way more stories about like this dude
Totally.
going downhill with football program, like with the University of Washington. But I mean, like at the end of the day, those are also places like professional and like collegiate athletes. That's just another venue for the fucking opiate industry to.
Dude, yeah, because they get them hooked on painkillers.
Yeah, and like these guys are getting beat up all the time.
Remember The Last Boy Scout?
I haven't seen that.
Next thing you know, you're chewing up codeine with your pancakes.
Yes, exactly.
Like, you know what I mean, dude? That's just so dope.
Yeah, it's so true.
That movie was so
It's
dope,
so
dude.
true, man.
That was Billy Blanks in the beginning, the Tybo guy. The running
No
back
shit.
that shoots himself in the end zone, yeah.
Oh,
That's,
yeah.
That's motherfucking Billy Blanks.
Dude.
Straight up, dude.
That guy, I wonder what that guy's doing nowadays.
Tybo.
Probably Tybo
He's
still.
probably living in a fat mansion in freaking
He was on
Florida
Shark Tank, too.
doing Tybo.
He was on Shark Tank, and he was trying to sell, like, another type
That's
of workout
crazy.
program. Yeah. Well, shit, man. We can wrap this up, dude. Dude, this is a, this is
Yeah.
literally a,
It's late.
I know. This is literally like like you come in here and you go through time. We've been doing this for it's about 2 hours.
Yikes.
So we've been in here for 3 hours.
I
but
talk
We've
too
been
much.
recording for 2. So no, you're totally good, man. Everybody can find you. We'll have you back on for the wrestling stuff, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your music next time too. We'll do more of a
Yeah.
music podcast.
Yeah,
That'd be sick.
man. Like,
Maybe before you guys' next show, come in and promote it. and
let me
we'll do,
know.
a
Like, yeah, I'll bring the guys.
that'd be sick.
They definitely love to come on.
yeah.
They've all got lots of cool stuff to talk about, man. Like
Yeah.
we have like the most gnarliest conversations. Like we go like anymore like after playing, it's like we go eat.
Dope.
You know what I mean?
Dope.
And so like we just have like the gnarliest conversations about. Half the time, I honestly don't know what they're talking about because I'm very like tech dumb.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm more like just not like on any level. Like I can operate some stuff.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like, so I get kind of lost with the tech stuff because there's so much, like, it's mind blowing.
It's overwhelming, dude.
Oh, it's crazy,
It's
bro.
overwhelming.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
Like, how much of this shit do we need? Like, how many cars do we need?
Not more than what we buy, but they make a lot more than we buy. So
That's what I'm saying. So I get confused a lot,
yeah,
just in general. I just kind of try to like think about like what it is I need to focus on
totally.
and do that, and it usually works out pretty good.
Hell yeah. Well, it seems like everything's working out for you. If people want to follow you, where can they follow you online?
So, like me personally, just like Jimmy Rhodes on Facebook and Instagram, Jimmy Rhodes 19, and then like Rock and Roll Trainer on Instagram, No Excuses Training, Boise, Idaho on Facebook. The band I Will, EYEWILL, is something that I'm a part of. With JNTC and Kenny. So, you know, there's 4 of us in the band. We have Facebook and Instagram as well. We even have like Twitter and stuff, but I haven't delved into Twitter yet. I'm Facebook, Instagram, because they understand it really well, kind of how to do it.
Same.
Because there's a thing, like, kind of a little bit.
Twitter's weird.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't either.
Like, I really don't.
I never give my Twitter handle out because I don't
Yeah.
do Twitter except for repost. I repost everything to Twitter.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, so everything I post will go to Twitter, but
Yeah.
like you don't see photos and stuff. You have to click through on the link and shit.
I got you.
So I might have followers. I don't really look at my Twitter.
I honestly couldn't tell you anything on that front.
It's all
But
good.
We're pretty basic with everything. It's super easy. Our website for the band is www.iwill.us. You can find everything on that, or on that site, you know, about us and whatnot. And then pretty much, like, I don't really do any websites for my trading. I'm still really organic about meeting people and just kind of people hitting me up about it. So I just throw ads and promote that way. And, you know, I get a steady flow of people contacting me.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, it'd be great if everybody who contacted was like serious about it. That's one of my things with people. It's just like, if they're not serious, like, I honestly have turned people down because of that.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't want to waste my time because like showing up to places, it's just about keeping schedules,
Totally.
you know,
Yeah.
like practices at 4.
Right.
Like you never
Right.
questioned it.
Yeah.
You just went. And then before you knew it, like you could run really fast.
Totally.
Like I was really fast when I played sports, you know, like that was a gift that I had in that realm.
Right.
You know, and how did I get that? Because it wasn't because I was better than everybody. It was because I worked harder.
Right.
So
I
you
dig
know,
it.
That's kind of how I think about it with like training. It's just like go in and work harder.
Awesome.
And if you give it everything you got, then nobody worked harder.
Exactly. Awesome, man.
Totally.
Awesome. All right. Well, Jimmy Rhodes, thank you for swinging
sure.
by the show, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you.
This is really awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. We'll have you back on. We'll do a wrestling show with you.
I'm so in.
We'll talk about your band before you guys' next show. Everybody else,
Totally.
make sure that you subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Pass the episode along, and have a wonderful rest of your day.